subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Failure. You didn't say it earlier. Ning Guang want to vomit blood now. If she could beat Fang Yue, she would definitely give Fang Yue an old punch. This guy would kill someone more than pay for his life. I'll jump, can I do it? Ning Guang felt that she had never been so wronged in her life when she grew up so big. When did she ever suffer this kind of anger? Chapter 28 in the intelligence room. Everyone was already laughing. Ye Miko. Oh, this black box is still interesting. I hope there will be more in the future. Kuli. Haha, this is so fun. So interesting. Kuli wants to play too. Kelly definitely dances better than this big sister. Kin. Kelly, you can't be so rude. Lisa. Come on. You were the one who laughed the loudest just now. Kin. Speechless. I glanced at Lisa resentfully. Why do you always expose me? Are you still a good sister? Zinkyu. Oh my god, your head of the kin team must have been spoiled by this space. Lei Movie. Is there any point in this mission? Why do I want to do this? Lei Movie doesn't understand. Although she also thinks it's quite interesting, but what's the point? Do you really want to play? Zhongli. If you want to get something, you have to give something that's fair. Lei Movie. That's the case. Then I suggest increasing the intensity. Ye Miko, do you know what you're talking about? You will increase the intensity? Looking at the speech of his own god, Ye Miko didn't know whether to laugh or cry. You want to participate in the game, and if you step up your efforts, you are really not afraid of death. Kemalai Ayaka, I think it's better not to have these tasks, so that people won't be so embarrassing. Kaya, please turn off the video recording and speak. Zinkyu, please turn off the video recording and speak. Toma, I testify that the lady did not turn on the video recording, and her video recording has always been displayed in green. Kamalai Ayato. Thomas, come here. I have something nice to show you. Yin Fei. Warrior, go all the way. Hu Tao. Thank you, Xiangling, for saving her life. Arataki Ichido. Ah. I'm back again. Xiao Gong. Is this recovery? How does it feel? Arataki Ichido. It's nothing special. It's just that I became timid all of a sudden, and it's not like I can't change back. Ha Ganyu. So, this is not affected at all? Look, there are really people who are not afraid of traps. King. You just listen to him. This guy is almost autistic. What kind of pretense did he run to the intelligence room? Arataki Ichido. Ew. You're going to be able to defile people's innocence out of thin air. Amber. 12araki.jpg. Arataki Ichido. Arin, quickly tell them what kind of man I am. Juki Shinobi, don't contact me anymore. I'm afraid others will misunderstand. Arataki Ikidu. Arin, don't abandon me. How can we, the Araki school, live without you? In game space, Ning Guang is still doing the task. She now feels that her life is gloomy. She gestures various actions with a dazed expression. No matter what you put, it has nothing to do with me. Fang Yue was amazed. In this state, Ning Guang was miraculously unaffected and passed the test in one go. Complete the mission and get extra rewards with the completion of the task. A card and a book appear in the treasure chest. Is this an additional reward? Ning Guang didn't move. She felt guilty when she saw the small card now. She was afraid that it was some kind of trick, so she could only look at Fang Yue. Fang Yue smiled and took out the contents to check. The small card is a skill, but even Fang Yue is a bit speechless about this skill. After looking at Ning Guang and then looking at the small card, I have to say that this skill is really suitable for Ning Guang to use, but the name of the skill is not very elegant. Skill, hit my old lady. Description, players can spend money to summon a thug in 10,000 realms as long as they shout, hit my old lady, and they will fight for the player once, regardless of whether they win or lose. Price list attached. Opening the book, Fang Yue found that it was a price list, and his name was actually on it. And it is the most expensive one, the one that costs 700 billion mores at a time. Very good. This virtually enhanced Fang Yue's style. After telling Ning Guang about her skills, Ning Guang was also a little confused. What kind of name is that? After looking at the price list, even she was almost unsure. Glancing at Fang Yue, He was sure that this was someone he couldn't afford to invite. Qing also came over, glanced at the price list above, and exclaimed, "Fang Yue, do you need 700 billion for one invitation? Why don't you grab it?" Fang Yue spread his hands, expressing his innocence, and by the way, pretending to be cowardly. "I'm also very helpless. His price is set according to his strength. Blame me for being too strong." The speaker has no intention, but the listener has the heart. The lady who pays close attention to the space is almost scared to death. Good guy. At first, I still doubted whether Fang Yue was a liar, but now it seems that I think him simply. He thought that even if Fang Yue wasn't a liar, he was at most similar to the god of Tivat. But when Ning Guang looked at the price list, she found that her ice god was also among them, and she only needed to spend 30 billion. What does this mean? It means that Fang Yue is much more powerful than her own ice queen. No wonder he can make friends with the person who created this system. It turns out that Fang Yue is really a big boss. The other women were also a little frightened when they saw Fang Yue. How strong is this man? It takes 700 billion to make him make a move. You must know that the second place only needs 300 billion. Seeing the expressions of the girls, Fang Yue was very satisfied, and this effect was what he wanted. When Fang Yue saw the price list, he already knew why he was so expensive. This price list is indeed ranked according to strength, but he is participating in a hide-and-seek game. If 500 Mora can summon him, then don't play this game. As long as he draws Ning Guang, he can be picked out for a few hundred Moras. So what's the point of playing? That's why his price is so expensive. What he wants is that the cost is not directly proportional to the harvest. But this happened to be his capital. The lady is already planning how to receive him in Mond. This kind of big guy needs to have a good relationship. The straggler was so frightened that he almost peed directly. He was packing his things and preparing to flee. The stragglers have already thought about it. As long as they can survive, they can talk about it when they meet people in the future. I have fought against Fang Yue, and I still survived. Rounding off, it means that Fang Yue and I have a 50-50 split. So, I ask you if you are afraid. Chapter 29, Taking Juju Pills. Okay, don't look at me, look. Fang Yue pointed to the little devil who was still holding the roulette. That's right. After the task is completed, you can spin the roulette. What are you waiting for? Ning Guang. Qing urged that she has a tendency to develop into a fun person. Not to mention her, the entire player group has a tendency to develop in this direction. Ning Guang took a deep breath, put his palms together, and muttered something before reaching out to turn the roulette. In the end, he still didn't move, which made Ning Guang startled. Could it be that he still has to complete the task? Turning his head mechanically, he looked at Fang Yue with an expression on the verge of tears. Fang Yue slapped her forehead. Why didn't she realize that when Ning Guang was still so cute? The sexy Yu Jie showed a little girl's expression and couldn't bear it. Who told you to spin the roulette wheel? Can't you turn a needle? Only then did Ning Guang realize that she was also stunned by the black box, and her head was a little short-circuited. I reached out and fiddled with the pointer to make sure it could move, and then I fiddled lightly. Ning Guang has already seen it clearly. The position where the pointer stays now points to the downgrading of the treasure chest, and the upgrade of the treasure chest is in the previous space. She's going to gently dial it to let the pointer slide to the next space. Seeing Ning Guang's movements, Fang Yue was speechless. What was he thinking? The system will leave you with such obvious loopholes? Sure enough, Ning Guang just touched it lightly, and the pointer started spinning crazily. After a period of time, the speed of the pointer slowed down, and Ning Guang's heart also lifted up. Seeing that the pointer slipped past the treasure box to upgrade, and the next space was the treasure box to 0, my heart sank to the bottom of my heart. She couldn't bear to look at the eyes that were directly closed. I have worked so hard to complete the task. And what is the purpose of dancing the house dance under the weird music? It really means returning to the pre-liberation overnight. Although Ning Guang didn't look at it, Qing's eyes were wide open, and Qing sighed in disappointment when he saw the treasure chest where the pointer slipped again and returned to 0. Why didn't it return to 0? Hearing that it wasn't returning to 0, he stared for joy, opened his eyes, and looked at it, and it was indeed not returning to 0. Although the pointer is still sliding, it is already very slow, and it will not be returning to 0 no matter what. He heaved a sigh of relief. He took a look at Qing, who was disappointed. When did this girl become so bad? I didn't return to 0. You were disappointed. What a ghost. I got a reward and our Lei Movie is stronger. You are still disappointed. You are not the ghost of fools. In the end, the pointer slid to the largest treasure chest relegation area and stopped. Seeing that the relegation of the treasure chest after the baptism just now, Ning Guang actually felt in his heart that he had made a profit and was a little happy. Immediately, I realized that something was wrong. What was I happy about? I don't want a good gold treasure box, but I want a silver one, so I'm happy with it. After the black box slid into the relegation zone, the little devil returned to the treasure box with a smirk. Then the black box directly turned into a silver treasure box. Looking at the silver treasure chest in front of him, although the quality is SR level, Ning Guang still dislikes it. After the baptism of the golden treasure chest, who would still value silver? Continue? The next one may be the white box. Fang Yue bewitched again. Fang Yue glanced blankly. Ning Guang directly opened the box without thinking about it. She used to think that she could gain unlimited levels of treasure chests, but now that she saw the black chest, she gave up. If the black box can upgrade the treasure box, then the mission is done, but the downgrading of your light treasure box accounts for almost half of the roulette wheel. So what are you doing foolishly trying to get that little luck? The box was opened, and what appeared inside was not a small card, but a small bottle with several small brown pills inside. Fang Yue checked it out, and this small bottle of pills was actually worth 40,000 points. What is so expensive? With a mutter, Fang Yue picked up the small bottle of pills and examined it carefully. Take the Juju pill. People who take this pill will randomly remove a negative state or suffer from an incurable disease at random time. P.S. Selected 64 processes purely handmade, without adding any preservatives. Let you eat at ease and die comfortably. All this, Fang, you didn't know how to explain this thing. You said it was poison. It seems that the effect of the medicine is a bit slow. You say this is the antidote, but how about this thing trick you? Seeing Fang Yue's tangled appearance, Ning Guang thought she had obtained something extraordinary, which made Fang Yue's heart ache. When I took it over and took a look, my blood pressure suddenly rose. I worked so hard to make this kind of thing. What's the use of this thing? Ning Guang tilted her head and looked at Fang Yue. She really didn't know what use this kind of thing could do. It's fine if it can't save people. You are not even professional in harming people. Ahem. Coughing a few times, Fang Yue was also a little embarrassed. No matter how good his eloquence was, he didn't know how to blow it. Forget it. I'm so unlucky today. When can I go back? Ning Guang didn't want to stay here anymore. She just wanted to go home quickly, hugging the quilt and crying. It doesn't matter if the golden treasure chest turns into silver. The key is that this completely useless little pill is still prescribed. She thinks she can go back and cry for a long time. The game was over, and Fang Yue opened the way back through the communication system. The game is over. Players can leave by themselves. The next game will start in 3 days, with an estimated score of 500,000. Chapter 30, let it see the power of 700 billion after leaving the game space. Fang Yue took an inventory of the goods received this time, and he was shocked when he saw it. This time I got 160,000 points, plus the 520,000 points I had left before. There are only 680,000 points in total. Not to mention that Ning Guang felt at a loss. He also felt that he was at a loss now. What Ning Guang opened is a treasure chest worth 300,000 points, not to mention more refunds and less compensation. You should at least give some. The remaining 260,000 points just disappeared. He quickly communicated with the system in his heart. System, let's discuss it. Can you give me the remaining points of the treasure box? Anyway, the points of the treasure box will deduct my points. The host is right. Return 1 point to the host. Damn it, this is... Eula was still discussing in the intelligence room, but was startled by Fang Yue's voice and turned her head to look. What's wrong with you? You're taken aback. Seeing Eula on the side, Fang Yue couldn't get angry, so he could only say that it was okay. He could see that this dog system not only cheated the players, but also cheated himself as the host. Let's go back to Mond. Sitting and watching the game all the time, Eula thought about moving her body and took Fang Yue on the return journey back to Mond. Fang Yue also has no objection. He doesn't need to consume physical strength in the game. He can just turn a pebble and lie there. And he is on his way now, which is exactly what he wants. So, the two figures started to head towards Mond again. Inside the Grand Hotel Montego, the lady found the fools under her command, took out the portrait of Fang Yue, and said, "This person is on the way to Mengde. You immediately go out of the city to look for it, and notify me immediately if you find it. Remember, don't offend this person." Several fools looked at each other, saw the portrait. It was a young boy, grinning. This was painted by the lady in front of them. The few fools didn't dare to ask any more questions, so they agreed and left the city. He took out the portrait again and looked at it for a while. After discussing with each other, they decided to go in one direction. Before leaving, and a dead handler of a group of fools couldn't bear the curiosity in his heart and said, "Who do you think this person is?" "Ma'am, you don't want us to offend him." The other fools looked at him contemptuously and said, "You can't even tell. Look at this kid, he is so white. Just a little white face. I think is probably the lady's." And when it was over, he gave the other party a look that you understood. The latter understood and took another look at Fang Yue's portrait. He was pretty good looking, but the smile was a bit lackluster. Bah, damn winner in life. A few fools also thought this was the case, and after a few poos in unison, they turned around and went to perform a task. Is this Mond? It's bigger than expected. After 2 days' journey, Fang Yue finally followed Eula to Mond. The entire Mond city is surrounded by a big river. The tall city wall stands on the isolated island, and the huge windmill is constantly rotating by the wind. The houses are built from bottom to top, appearing layer upon layer. Follow me. Eula didn't lead Fang Yue into the city, but went to the other side. Hey, don't we go in? Fang Yue wondered, where is this going? Just now Amber said that there are many Cookie camps around, and they need to be cleaned up. I happened to go over to help. It turned out to be like this. Fang Yue knew that Amber was cleaning up the camp of the Cookie people. Following Eula along the way, I really met Amber not far away. She was fighting with a group of Cookie people with Ing and Paimon. I'm going to help. After Yura said something, she raised her sword and rushed forward. She didn't expect Fang Yue to help either. He couldn't afford that price. Pai Meng, who was flying in the sky, had sharp eyes, and he saw Fang Yue at a glance, flew over quickly, and hid behind him. Although she has Ying's protection, she still feels safer here when she sees Fang Yue. After all, this is a bodyguard worth 700 billion. Fang Yue, why don't you help? Can't they handle it? What mess should I make? Paimon agreed with this, but Amber promised her that he would go to the city to treat her to fried meat with carrots. If Fang Yue made a move, wouldn't it be possible to solve it quickly? Just at this time, a Cookie man was slashed on the mask by Ying's sword, and half of the mask was shattered. The Cookie man screamed and withdrew from the battle group. Immediately, they found Fang Yue and Paimon, who were standing on the sidelines watching the play. Pai Meng floated beside Fang Yue. She felt very safe, seeing that Cookie man looked at her, raised her eyes, crossed her arms, and said provocatively, "What are you looking at? Come here if you have the ability." The corner of Fang Yue's mouth twitched. "You Pai Meng, you're gonna die. Is that something I can beat?" Enraged by Pai Meng, the Cookie man rushed towards the two with a roar. Paimon patted Fang Yue's shoulder calmly. "I leave it to you. Show her the power of 700 billion. I can't wait to find a pot to stew you." Fang Yue had no choice but to step forward and say, "Just be silly. The strength of this Cookie man is not inferior to mine. Is it that powerful?" Paimon was not very smart in the first place, so when he heard what Fang Yue said, he didn't think about it. She slipped and flew back to Ying's side, looking at Fang Yue nervously. Damn, this Paimon is too disrespectful. He just ran away. The Cookie man rushed in front of Fang Yue, raised his fist, and hit. The wooden stick he had just cut had been cut by Ying, and now he could only use his fist. Cookie punched, and Fang Yue instinctively punched him too. Comparing the two fists, both sides retreated 2 steps each. One even match. When Paimon saw this situation, he was startled. This Cookie person is actually so powerful, but fortunately he has Fang Yue on his side, otherwise he would have to explain everything here. Later, he patted his small chest in fear and made up his mind that Fang Yue's thigh must be hugged firmly this time. Ning also saw the situation here and was stunned for a moment. The sword almost slipped from her hand. What about your 700 billion strength? That's it? Is 700 billion worth your 8 blows? Pai Ming saw Ning stunned and thought to himself, the child might be frightened, so he hurriedly comforted him. Don't be afraid. Although this cookie man is powerful, Fang Yue is definitely stronger than him. Ning glanced at Paimon. Your eyes see me scared. Chapter 31, The Wind Demon Dragon Strikes. There weren't many Cookie people, so they dealt with it after 3 times, 5 divisions, and 2, and then saw the Cookie person who had been fighting Fang Yue back and forth. Kiki froze in place. Paimon kindly explained, this Cookie man is very powerful. Fang Yue said that he is not inferior to him. Eula rolled her eyes. This guy started again. Is it interesting to tease a Cookie? That guy also said that I'm not under him, but I couldn't even touch the hem of his clothes. After she said this, they understood that Fang Yue was really not a human being, and even Cookie wanted to tease her. Is the life of a master really like this? Thinking of Fang Yue's incomprehensible look, Ning also felt relieved. That's right. As far as Fang Yue's character can't do anything, it's possible for you to make him fight the wild boar. Fang Yue saw how many people were watching the play at the same time, and he couldn't tell the pain in his heart. He accidentally punched Cookie people a few times just now, and he himself was also hit a few times. At this time, the pain was severe, and he was looking at the few people watching the show. Can't you guys come and help? What play are you watching? Kieran punched again. Fang Yue reached out to catch it and kicked it subconsciously. He originally wanted to kick his chest, but he had never practiced martial arts, so he couldn't lift his legs so high, and when he stepped down, he just kicked Cookie Ren's crotch. Yaya! Cookie hugged his crotch, screamed strangely, fell to the ground, and kept rolling. Suck! The people next to them gasped in unison. How could this guy be so cruel? It hurts for these women to look at, not to mention the feelings of Cookie people. Fang Yue was dumbfounded, trembling all over. I am using the magical skill of not being under me, and this Cookie person will do this to me later. I will not be able to survive. After a long time, Cookie got up. Fang Yue swallowed, his legs trembling a little. Seeing the way Cookie people looked at him, his heart beat. Chugo don't want it. Mimuya, with a strange cry, Cookie turned around and jumped. The speed was as fast as a whirlwind and disappeared in a blink of an eye. Call! Exhaling a long breath, Fang Yue turned towards the direction where the Cookie people were running away, clasped his fists, and said, Brother is very skilled. Today we are tied. We will fight again in the future. Yura came over angrily and kicked him lightly. You can't be serious. Is it interesting to play a Cookie? That's wrong. This Cookie man was an opponent I defeated with all my strength. How can I be so contemptuous? Fang Yue didn't lie. He really tried his best. Okay, let's go back. Eula felt that she couldn't tell Fang Yue clearly. This guy was a typical dishonest guy. Fortunately, he is still a strong man. After a few people left, a figure appeared not far away. Is this the person your lady is looking for? He's too weak. Even a Cookie person can't handle it. I really don't know what ma'am is interested in him. Bah, little boy. Along the way, Paimon kept chattering around Fang Yue and asking questions. The main content can be roughly divided into, what will you change next time? Can I join the next game? Can you give me that treasure chest better? Shut up, talk again, and I'll stew you. Fang Yue admires Ning a little now. How did you resist cooking her with such a humanoid broadcaster? Fortunately, it is not far from Mond, and after a short walk, several people came to the bridge of Mond, where Fang Yue watched a little boy feeding pigeons. Those pigeons were obviously startled by several people, flapping their wings and flying away quickly. Fang Yue's heart was bleeding when he saw it. Why didn't I draw a skill to kill pigeons? Think of yourself running onto a bridge, go with the wind. That feeling comfortable. Roar. Just as Fang Yue was still lamenting for the pigeon, a loud roar came. Several people looked up and saw a huge cyan dragon flying from afar. So big. Seeing Feng Malong for the first time, Fang Yue was startled. Is this the Feng Malong that players beat up once a week in the game? This size is much larger than in the game, and its momentum is even more terrifying. Why did it appear early? Fang Yue is a bit strange. Shouldn't it come out after Ing entered the city? Could it be that I delayed the time by fighting with the Cookie people? Oops, it's the Wind Demon Dragon. Amber exclaimed. Did the Wind Demon Dragon start attacking Mon City? Turning his head to look at Fang Yue, he asked, Fang Yue, can you please repel it? Well, I also want to repel it, and I can become the great hero of Mond in an instant. That would be great. But Fang Yue just wanted to say that concubines can't do it. Seeing that Fang Yue refused to make a move, Amber was a little disappointed, but he cheered up immediately. It can't be allowed to enter Mon City. So many people will still be hurt. Immediately took out the bow and arrow, wanting to attract Feng Malong's attention. If you just don't want it to enter the city, why don't you ask the amazing Paimon? Fang Yue suddenly reminded at this time. Paimon? Amber is a little confused. You don't want Paimon to fight with Feng Malong, do you? No, absolutely not. Paimon's head shook like a rattle with his body size, let alone a Feng Malong's teeth. Even if it was eaten, Feng Malong might not notice it. Come over. Fang Yue grabbed Paimon and whispered something in her ear. Paimon's eyes lit up when he heard this, and he turned around and slapped his chest loudly at the crowd. Leave this little wind demon dragon to Paimon. With Fang Yue as her backer, what is she afraid of? The mere Feng Malong is not easy to catch. Seeing Paimon's smug little expression, Fang Yue really wanted to tell him, I'm unreliable. Chapter 32. This dragon is not under me in the city of Mond. The originally clear sky began to slowly turn dark with the sound of a dragon's roar. Many pedestrians looked up at the sky, not understanding what happened. Sensing that the powerful elemental force is approaching Mond, Qin in the office said badly, quickly go out to check. The lady at the Gerda Hotel also sensed the malice approaching Mond, and the corners of her lips curled up slightly. This dragon will attack Mond. How can you hide now? Saying that, he pushed open the door and went outside to look at the sky. Roar! A huge cyan dragon, accompanied by a strong wind, appeared in the sky above Mon City. Many residents stared wide-eyed and fled in a hurry. What's more, he was so frightened by this power that he couldn't move and fell to the ground. Seeing the panic-stricken look of the crowd, Tweren was still very satisfied. It seems that his power has not diminished much. Roar! Roaring again, it is ready to use the power of the wind element to show some color to those who forget themselves. The area ahead. Let's explore later. Just at this moment, a soft and waxy voice appeared beside its ears. Kindness. Why is this Mon getting farther and farther away from him? When Twalen recalled it, he was a little dumbfounded. Why did he fly back again? Swooping forward again, this time Twering has increased his horsepower. With an indomitable momentum, the area ahead. Let's explore later. Yeah. The voice appeared again, and Turin found that his body was out of control and flew back to the outside of Mon City. Roar! Tweren is angry this time. You FG Barbados, he must be playing me. You see, I won't drag you out and beat you up. The area ahead. Let's explore later. The voice reappeared. Twalen wanted to cry, but I wanted to explore now. What's wrong? Flapping its wings blankly in the sky. Tweren is a bit wrong now. I have made meritorious service for Mond. I have shed blood for Mond. Is this how you Barbados treat me? In the city of Mond. Qin, who was still a little worried, also looked at the sky blankly. What happened to this Feng Malong today? Well, why did you come to Mond to perform flying acrobatics? Not to mention, the posture of diving and circling back just now is quite handsome. The lady also didn't understand. She was planning to find Barbados while the Wind Demon Dragon was making trouble. Why don't you play your cards according to the routine? You dragon, just run over and roar twice and you're done. What about your mighty wind elemental? Where are your strong limbs? Is that a display? Outside Mond. Wow. Do you see that with Master Paimon here? This dragon will definitely not be able to enter Mond. Seeing that he played with this dragon, Paimon was extremely arrogant. As expected of Master Paimon, Amber clenched his hands tightly and looked at Paimon with little stars in his eyes. N. You are very good. Remember to fry the tribute carrots on the meat later. In closed her eyes and couldn't bear to watch You're still thinking about carrot fried meat. This guy's only good for that. Fang Yue saw that the Feng Malong had come out, so he could implement the pretend plan he had thought up. He raised his legs and came to the front, with one hand behind his back and the other reaching out to several people, spreading his palms. Sword! When they saw that Fang Yue was about to make a move, their eyes lit up. If Fang Yue can make a move, this Feng Malong will be no problem. Soon, a sword was directly handed over to Fang Yue. Fang Yue only felt his hand sink, and he couldn't hold it tightly. With a bang, the sword fell directly to the ground. The scene was a little awkward for a while. Fang Yue's face twitched. I reached out to Ying for a sword. Eula, why are you so cooperative? That sword of yours that I can handle with one hand? Uh-huh. Embarrassed cough. This deity is not used to this rough sword. Get another one. Eula wanted to hit someone when she heard it. Are you used to paying me back? What does it mean to throw it on the ground? Only then did Ying realize that she was asking for a sword from herself, so she quickly handed her woofing sword into Fang Yue's hands. This time, Fang Yue caught it steadily, looked up at Tuolin, and raised his sword directly. Is this going to chop that wind dragon right here? Amber asked suspiciously. She didn't know the details of Tuolin, and thought Fang Yue was trying to eliminate harm for the people. Sword key. This is definitely going to use sword key to deal with this dragon. Ying exclaimed, good guy. This is the legendary sword energy. Kill the enemy thousands of miles away. To be able to meet you today is really a blessing for Sansheng. Hearing her call, several people immediately held their breath and focused on the upcoming scene. I saw Fang Yue raise his hand with the sword and slash straight down. The speed was not fast, and there was no strange sword energy. When a few people were wondering, they saw that the body of the Feng Malong in the sky seemed to be uncontrollable and smashed straight towards them. At that speed, when Fang Yue completely slashed the sword down, it had already hit the ground directly. Boom! The huge Twarin hit the ground, splashing up clouds of smoke and dust. When the smoke and dust cleared, several people saw the Feng Malong prostrate on the ground, with its two front paws raised upwards with difficulty and joined together. Fang Yue looked a little startled. This Twarin is a dragon, and now that his two front paws are raised like this, he probably has a broken bone. Since then, after thinking about it several times in my heart, I said, you dragon, your strength is not inferior to mine. Why do you still want to be harmony? Fang Yue was still cautious. He was afraid that Tuolin would give him a claw later, so he directly activated the magic skill of not being under me. But this is not the case when it is heard by other people's ears, especially the girls behind Fang Yue. This Fang Yue is a real dog. Is there such an ironic dragon? Chapter 33 Barbados. Really not a thing? It seems that this 100% being caught empty-handed is still quite useful. Fang Yue is very satisfied with the effect. Amber silently turned on the screenshot function of the intelligence room at the back. She discovered this yesterday. It turns out that the screenshot function can be used without opening the game space. After finding an angle, I snapped a few shots. After a few glances, I am very satisfied with my shooting skills. Intelligence room. Amber. Big Brother Fang Yue subdues Fengmalong.jpg Zinko. FK. The boss is awesome. The power of a sword is so powerful. Kaya, I was talking about how the Feng Malong flew around, and it turned out that the boss made the move. Kaya understood now, and her heart sank. She glanced at the stunned crowd, turned around, and walked towards the bar. Fang Yue has already made a move, so I will definitely not be able to use him. It's another day of happy skipping work. Look, Mon's dragon disaster actually requires the help of outsiders. The knights have fallen. Kaya, I'll give you the sword. Go up. Barbara, here is a sword, you go. Look, who is still at Chintzy Winery, curled his mouth. I'll do it. I'll give it a hammer. Shall I deliver the food? Xiangling, wow. Such a big dragon. How long does it take to make a dragon meat steak? Beidou, if you have an idea, remember to save some for me. Lisa, endangered protected animals, no eating. Qin, it turned out that His Excellency Fang Yue made the move. Amber, wait a moment, I'll come right away. Ning Guang, remember to bring money. Please settle the 700 billion mora. Xiaogong, it's over. This Mon won't go bankrupt, right? Toma, from now on, Mon will belong to Fang Yue. After tidying up her makeup, Qin quickly walked out of the city. Fang Yue helped Mond capture the Feng Malong just after he arrived, so he should go to greet him. The lady also saw the picture and quickly went down to greet her with her hands. It would be great if she could draw Fang Yue over. Several people were walking out, but a green figure rushed out faster than anyone else. Wendy is a little flustered now. He is really afraid that Fang Yue will be unhappy and chop Tuolin up. Come outside the city. Wendy saw Fang Yue standing with a sword in his hand, and Turin prostrate on the ground with his claws raised up in a gesture of surrender. Your Excellency, please don't do anything. Wendy hurriedly stopped her, and when Turin saw Wendy coming, he felt aggrieved for no reason. Tears were about to fall. Is it easy for yourself? The majestic dragon of the East Wind was made into this appearance by a human, and its reputation in the past has been completely discredited. He made up his mind that as long as he could escape, he would never come to this ghostly place again. I didn't do anything to it. Just let it be more honest. When Wendy saw it, it was true that Turin was lying on the ground and could not move. Chance! Wendy's eyes lit up, and she quickly rushed to Tuolin's side, coaxing and comforting her. Fang, you didn't take the sword away, just held it like this. As long as he maintained this posture, Turin had to maintain the posture of catching the sword with his bare hands. Glancing at Wendy, he said, "There's a wound on the back of the dragon I locked up. Could it be that it was infected by something? You can see it too." Wendy immediately explained to Fang Yue the origin of the Wind Demon Dragon. Now that the boss is here, why not let him clean up Tuolin's corrosion points? Wouldn't it be beautiful? I wonder if you have a way to clear this thing. Fang Yue pondered for a while, expressing that he was helpless. I know a hammer. You don't need such a useful tool in the back. I'll find me. Can you afford it? You. Wendy was a little disappointed. She thought Fang Yue had something to do, and it seemed that she couldn't rely entirely on the boss. Fang Yue smiled mysteriously and said, I think there seems to be some kind of power in this girl. Maybe you can give it a try. Several people looked at Ing in unison. So you're also a boss? Ing was a little puzzled. Is this an affirmation from the boss? How about let me try? Ing was quite happy to be affirmed by the boss. You see so many people. Fang, you just clicked my name. It's not from the boss. What must it be? Well, please. Wendy nodded to Ing. He didn't know why Fang Yue said that there was some kind of power in Ying's body. Anyway, he didn't notice it at all. Is this the world of the strong? You could tell what's inside someone's body just by looking at it. Ing didn't talk nonsense. She rolled up her sleeves and climbed onto Tuerin's body, found a sword at random, and turned the corroded spot outward. Teyvat Linton screamed in pain. Barbados, UBD, it's fine if you don't save me, but you actually help outsiders bully me. Tuolin spoke and immediately surprised the others. What did I hear? Isn't this guy our rotten drunk at Mond? When did you become Lord Barbados? Tuerin, shut up. You are saving you. When he was a little embarrassed and quickly told Tuolin to shut up. But now Tuerin recognized that this guy was tricking him and opened his mouth to scold him. Barbados, you are ungrateful. Have you forgotten that I once protected Mond? I'm your family member, and you brought people to hunt me down. You forgot you were bullied. Who brought you back? Have you forgotten the demon dragon Durin is attacking? Who is resisting it? Barbados, UBD, is it easy for me? I met you, a god who doesn't do business. At the end, Tuolin choked up a little. His life was miserable. The gods of other people's families, one hit is a mountain, and one knife is a canyon. What about this one at home? I know how to drink and sing all day long, and finally broke a mountain with the wind, and I have to resist throwing it out. At the end of the talk, big drops of tears flowed out. It was sad for those who heard it, and they shed tears when they saw it. Listening to Turin's constant narration, not to mention Fang Yue, even Amber and Eula's eyes on Wendy changed drastically. There's a meaning revealed in the eyes, Barbados. It's really not a thing. Chapter 34, Entering Mond City after all. This Turin is a dragon, and his voice is not small. In Mond City, at least half of the people heard its voice. Qin's expression was a little embarrassed. She just walked out with her head buried. She finally knew why the Wind Demon Dragon attacked Mond. Half of it was Mond's own reason, and the other half was mostly because of his own Barbados. The lady was stunned for a moment when she heard Tuolin's roar. So, It was Barbados who called the Wind Demon Dragon at that time. 500 years ago, the abyss monsters in the underground of Canria invaded Mond, and the person she loved died in battle to protect Mond. She always thought that Barbados didn't care about Mond at that time. But now it seems that this Barbados is not alone. He's still called the Wind Dragon to resist the dragon. Looking back at the Fengshen statue with a complicated expression, he turned around and walked out of the city without saying a word. Outside Mond, Wendy went straight to Muggle, and he didn't expect that Tuolin would reveal his old background at this time. Can you stop talking? I'm really saving you. You're trying to lie to me again. I'll never be fooled by you again. Turin doesn't listen at all. You save me? You're the only one who still has that knife pride on me. Click. After working hard, Ing finally pried off a piece of corrosion on her back. Teyvat, who lost 1 point of corrosion, felt a lot lighter, and the irritable feeling in his heart subsided a little, and looked at Wendy suspiciously. Is this guy really saving me? Seeing that Teyvat had calmed down, Ing, who was still pouring her strength into the wound, was shocked. It seemed that I could really handle this thing. Immediately, he became more motivated, ran to another corrosion point in a few steps, and started to do the same. Fang Yue saw that Teyvat had calmed down and withdrew his sword. It's not good to let it lie on the ground like this all the time, and put on a posture of surrender. Fang Yue just took down the sword here, and Tuolin's hands just loosened and drooped directly. It's not really hurt, but numb. Although Tuolin was free now, he didn't dare to move. It was completely frightened by Fang Yue. This human being is ridiculously strong, and he was tricked without knowing it. So he should just stay there now. With previous experience, Ing quickly pried off the other one this time, looked at the wound that was still oozing black blood, injected her own strength again, and soon the black blood was purified completely. Clapping his hands, he jumped off Tuolin's body and said, "Is this all right?" "Because it should be fine." Fang Yue is not too sure. He is just offering some advice. As for how to do it, it is your own business. Grateful, Tuolin spoke. This time his voice was not as harsh as before, but more gentle. Its mind had been muddled before, and its heart was full of anger, so it yelled at Wendy. Now that it's calmed down, it's kind of embarrassing. Wendy obviously didn't take it seriously, and was about to appease Tuolin when she turned her head and saw a few people coming out of Mond City. He was startled. He didn't want too many people to know his identity. "Brother Fang Yue, we'll see you later. I'll slip away first." After speaking, he jumped on Tuolin's back and flew away. Ing was stunned by his operation. She worked hard for a long time. Didn't you even say thank you? Do you really think of me as a tool person? You also said to treat me to delicious food. You are a big liar, Paimon said angrily on the side. As soon as Qin came out of the city gate, she saw Feng Malong flying away with a green figure behind her back. How could that bard be on the back of the Wind Demon Dragon? Could it be that he is Barbados? Thinking of what this guy did in Mond City, Qin is a little uneasy. Is it the kind of virtue that he likes Cambaru? Make up your mind that this must not be known to Barbara. To let her know, I don't know if I still have the courage to live. After coming to several people, after saying hello to Fang Yue and Ing, he asked Amber, what happened just now? As Amber, who watched the whole process, he immediately turned into a storyteller and described how Fang Yue subdued Tuolin with a single sword. He blew hard again. Paimon, who was listening, quit. Why don't I deserve credit? He desperately reminded Amber on the side. Mimi. And me. Well, yes. And Paimon, she also contributed. Paimon held back his mouth. He wasn't fooling people like that. Thank you for your help this time. Qin saluted the two of them again. She never thought that the matter of Feng Malong would be resolved so quickly. Sideways made a gesture of please. In order to thank you for your help, I will be the host today, and I will go to the Deer Hunter restaurant to welcome a few of you. As soon as he heard that there was something to eat, Pai Ming Lima took Ing and ran to the city, afraid that if he was too late, they would close the stall. Fang Yue didn't object either, and followed a few people into this city-state of poetry and wine. Chapter 35 Temporary Workers Eat Your Rice. After entering Mond, Fang Yue realized that it was completely different from the Mond he had imagined. It would take a long time to walk just to the residential areas. If you go in alone, you may get lost. Just as a few people came to the square of a fountain garden in the center, A lady with an enchanting figure happened to walk here with a few people. When Qin saw the crowd of fools appearing, she frowned. How did she appear here? Could it be that she also came to contact Fang Yue? The lady obviously also saw Fang Yue and the others, and walked to Fang Yue's side. Your Excellency, Guan. Oh, hello. After all, he was a player, so Fang Yue greeted him politely. He didn't want to have a relationship with the player. Your Excellency, the fools have ordered food and drinks at the Goethe Hotel to welcome you. I hope you will show your face. Yes, after knowing that Fang Yue was coming to Mond, she had already prepared everything. Fang Yue scratched his head in a bit of embarrassment. He knew what the lady meant, but he had already agreed to Qin's invitation, and it was obviously inappropriate to run with fools. When he was still thinking of a reason to refuse, a group of fools behind the lady said impatiently and arrogantly, "What this and that, boy? Ma'am told you to go, you go. Shut up. Did you hear that? Just shut up and follow us. I tell you to shut up. The lady is mad. Who is this, so stupid? Didn't you look at me respectfully? Why are you so arrogant? Did drinking make me stupid? Is this your subordinate?" Fang Yue asked in amazement. Among fools, is there such a sand sculpture? You're a fool. It's no wonder that fools don't have a good reputation, but with your arrogance, it's no wonder that you have a good reputation. No, this is a new temporary worker this year. Goddamn temporary workers. You fools still have this saying? Really just blame the temporary workers for everything. Temporary workers have eaten your rice. When will temporary workers really stand up? Well, next time I will visit again. What do you think? Fang Yue also doesn't want to interact too much with fools. Although this lady has white hair and does have a special attack effect on a Chinese person like herself, but she is a fool. If you interact with her too deeply, the game space may not be enough too harmonious. In that case, I will wait for your Excellency at the Goethe Hotel. The lady also knew that this was Fang Yue's excuse, so she didn't dare to pester her too much. The purpose of her coming here was just to get acquainted, so that Fang Yue would not dislike her in the future. I wish you a happy stay in Mond. I will take my leave first. After speaking to Fang Yue again, the lady left with a few people. Good performance. I'll treat you to a drink when I'm free. Eula is still satisfied with Fang Yue's performance. Just now Fang Yue said that he will go next time, but everyone present knows that this means that he will not go. Everyone tacitly agrees. The Deer Hunter restaurant is on the side of this square. It has just experienced the attack of the Feng Malong, and there is no one diner in the Deer Hunter at the moment. When several people came here, Fang Yue saw Sarah standing at the counter at a glance. Unlike the faces of the public in the game, this Sarah is actually a big beauty. After Qing greeted a few people to sit down, she went to Sarah to order food. Can I order some sweet flour stuffed chicken? How can you not try this legendary dish when you come to Mongda? Fang Yue is going to try this sweet flour stuffed chicken today. Qin nodded with a smile. Mond's sweet flour stuffed chicken is quite famous, which is a major feature of Mond. Because there were no diners, the food was served very quickly. After a while, the dishes were brought out one by one. Sarah, who delivered the food, looked at Fang Yue a few times. She could feel that this group of people was based on Fang Yue. Headed by, I have to say that Fang Yue is quite handsome. Otherwise, he would not be famous as a cosplayer. Seeing Sarah looking at herself, she also nodded with a smile, and the latter ran away a little embarrassed. You guy, hooked up with people when you first came here? Eula got along with Fang Yue for a few days. She was not afraid of Fang Yue at all. She immediately made a sarcasm. Why did I hook up with someone? I'm being polite. Okay. Fang Yue was speechless. Why did she become AHR? If she wanted to hook up, she would also hook up with you. Ignoring her, looking at the golden and sweet stuffed chicken with flowers, Fang Yue couldn't wait to tear off a leg and put it in his mouth. Kindness. Sweet BD. Fang Yue regretted it. He was not used to this stuff. Glancing at Paimon next to him, he pushed this sweet flour stuffed chicken in front of her calmly. Paimon, try it quickly. This is delicious. And, Fang Yue, you are a great person. Seeing that Fang Yue still greeted him, Paimon immediately felt that Fang Yue was a nice person who could get along with him. He really gave me something delicious. Looking at the Paimon eating so much, Fang Yue wondered, don't you think this dish is a bit too sweet? The people next to them looked at each other, and they understood that Fang might not be used to sweets. Started to recommend other dishes for Fang Yue, and Fang Yue tried it. It's delicious, much better than sweet flour stuffed chicken. Chapter 36. There are such powerful cookie people. The lady who returned to the Gerda hotel looked gloomy and looked at the fool next to her without saying a word. The fools were a little overwhelmed by the fright. Wasn't it always like this before? Why did they offend the lady this time? After a long time, the lady patted him on the shoulder. You are very good, smarter than a few of them. The fools breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that the lady is not angry. She even praised me. I have an important task for you to do here. Remember, this is top secret. Look, this is the approval from the subordinate must complete the task. Is it top secret? Sure enough, my status in the hearts of ladies is different. Thinking of this, he also glanced provocatively at the two companions beside him. Well, I have a confidential document here, and I need you to bring it back to Jidong. This document is very important and must not be known to outsiders. When you go back to Solstice Winter, don't take transportation. Just find a path and walk back. Also, there will definitely be people coming to snatch it along the way. You go to the snow mountain to hide for a month, and then set off to return to the winter. Remember, no one can tell, including fools. Seeing the seriousness of what the lady said, the fool suddenly felt a sense of mission. Taking a deep breath, he said, "Leave it to me, ma'am. I don't know when I will leave. The sooner the better, right now." Huh. Now I'll go and pack up my things. After all, he was going to stay in the snow mountain for a month, so he still needed something to keep out the cold. No need. I've already prepared things for you in the snowy mountains. Just find traces of Cookie people's activities. The supplies to keep out the cold are nearby. Take this document and go. Yes. He glanced at his companion provocatively again, turned around, and walked towards the door. Did you see that such an important task was only entrusted to me, madam? The remaining two idiots looked at the lady and felt a little bit drummed. They don't have any secret missions either. Go down. Yes. Relieved, the two fools quickly left the hotel. Call. Sitting on the chair annoyed, the lady was a little annoyed. Why are all her subordinates so foolish? Ma'am, I'm back. A deep voice remembered. This is the return of the debt handler who stalked Fang Yue. Why did you come back now? The lady was very angry and asked you to go out of the city to find Fang Yue. Now that everyone has gone to the city, you only come back. This had to make her think that this guy would not be fishing. Dead handlers are also suffering. He was the first to find Fang Yue, and when he saw Fang Yue fighting with a cookie man, he felt a little contemptuous in his heart. Although he knew that Fang Yue had blood-tortured Feng Malong when he changed hands, it scared him half to death. Recalling that Fang Yue said that the cookie man was not inferior to him before, he realized that the cookie man was really so powerful. As for the scene where Fang Yue and the cookie people fought, he just regarded it as a master's fight. If he thought it was very good, it must be because his level is not enough. Otherwise, what would happen if Fang Yue chopped off the Feng Malong with one sword? Ma'am, I have found something. Immediately, he told what he had seen and heard. After hearing this, the lady looked like an idiot. A cookie person who can compete with Fang Yue? I'm afraid you have a brain problem. I can fight Fang Yue back and forth. And the lady wonders if her ice god will be beaten to death by this cookie man. Seeing that the lady didn't believe it, the dead handler immediately assured, "My lord, what I said is true. This is what I saw with my own eyes." The lady still knows something about this person, and she is not someone who dares to lie in front of her. Is there really such a strong cookie people? She began to doubt in her heart. If there was such a cookie person, the whole Tivat continent would tremble 3 times. With a mentality that she would rather believe in something than nothing, the lady ordered, "I will give you a few people, and you do your best to find that cookie man. Report it immediately when you find it. Remember, don't provoke it." Yes. In this regard, the dead handler is still very confident. He is better at finding people, and the cookie man has only half a mask on his face, so it is relatively easy to identify. After he left, the lady fell into deep thought again. What happened recently? All demons and ghosts jumped out. If only I could figure out why that cookie is so strong. After a full meal, Fang Yue encountered an embarrassing situation. He had no money and no place to live, and Ying and Pai Meng were the same. The 3 of them stared wide-eyed, not eating a good meal in the city, and then staying on the streets. Fortunately, Qin is still reliable and arranged accommodation for several people. The three of them were Mon's benefactors, and it was their duty to arrange board and lodging for them. But what Qin didn't expect was that the way these three people looked at her was so wrong. With tears in my eyes, it was as if I saw my loved ones. This is the look in the eyes of my mother. Chapter 37. The third game starts after staying in Mon for a day. Fang Yue felt that he always eats other people, and it is not good to live in other people's homes. Make money. This issue was put on the agenda by Fang Yue. Well, when I get some points this time, I will go to the Smokers Association to have a look at the treasure chest again. Jiaying went to the Adventurers Association to pick up the mission yesterday. Of course, he wanted to go too, but his strength didn't allow it. He can only hope that today's game can get a little more points. System, start the game. Lie on the bed and contact the system. Fang Yue is ready to start the Peekaboo game now. Dear players, the Peekaboo game is just starting. This time the treasure chest points are 500,000 points. All players please get ready. The venue has been sorted out. Please Fang Yue hide. Coming to this game space, Fang Yue is a little dumbfounded. The place is too big. The place where Fang Yue is now is actually an amusement park. Glancing left and right, Fang Yue showed a bright smile. If I can't win this time, I really can't justify it. There are a lot of places to hide, so Fang Yue didn't know where to hide for a while. Oh, too many choices are a burden. Finally, Fang Yue looked towards a dark hole, which is the haunted house. Hey, Fang Yue laughed twice and strode toward that side. Yay, Miko. It's finally started again. I've been so bored these days since having this game space. Yay Miko has almost been in the information room, not even reading her favorite light novels. Lisa, you are still boring. You're the most active person in this intelligence room. Cully, when will Cully be able to participate in the game? I seem to be participating. Bennett, I don't want to participate. I can't play this game. Lazy, Bennett, it's bad. Unlucky. The hiding person is in place. The initial players are Chongyun, Ye Shensi. Teleport the player into the game space. The game officially begins. After the voice fell, two figures appeared in the game space. This is a huge playground. Although there are no tourists, there's a staff member standing in each facility. Oh, I got drawn by accident. Ye Shensi glanced around. Her eyes were full of curiosity. Her ears were still up and down. Obviously, she was quite happy at the moment. Little guy, how do we find this time? Seeing Chongyun beside him, Ye Kimito asked. She wanted to test Chongyun's character and then come up with corresponding countermeasures. From the moment she came in, she had already regarded Chongyun as a tool. I don't know either. Let's look around first. Although Chongyun is a bit dull, he is not stupid, and he doesn't want to get in touch with this ghostly fox. Before he entered this game, Zinkyu had done a lot of work for him, and among the most unbelievable people, Ye Shensi was at the top of the list. It's boring, then you go over there. Seeing the alertness in Chongyun's eyes, Ye Shensi waved his hand and let him go to the other side. Chongyun didn't argue with her and really walked to the side. Ye Kimiko looked around and saw a pony with various colors on a disc surrounding the disc. Curious in my heart, I took a step and walked towards the inside. As a result, as soon as he got close, he was stopped by the staff at the door. Hey, why do you go inside if you don't buy a ticket? Buy a ticket? Ye Miko was shocked. Do I still need to buy a ticket to find someone? How much more? She glanced at the staff member angrily. Such a delicate beauty, like herself, actually asked herself for money. One time for 10,000 moras. The time is 3 minutes. I give you. He took 10,000 morat from his body and threw it to the staff. 10,000 moras can only go in and look for 3 minutes? It seems that I have to hurry up. Ye Shensi entered inside with a few steps, looking here and there, feeling carefully, looking for clues. Hey, I said you're still playing or not. You can play if you want to play, and come out if you don't play. The staff urged from outside. Play. Ye Shensi didn't understand. He didn't come here to play. Could this be some clue? It's from the countryside. The staff gave Ye Miko a blank look, pointed at the ponies impatiently, and said, Sit on it. I'm going to start it. I endured it. Ye Shensi's blood pressure rose, and it was the first time that he was said to be from the countryside when he grew up so big. But this is a game space, and she doesn't want to get angry, so she just finds a little red horse and sits on it. I want to see what the hell this man is doing. I'm going to start it, hold the handle by myself. I'm not responsible for it falling. As the staff spoke, they pressed the button on the workbench. Drop down. Ye Shinsi was startled. Could it be that he triggered something and quickly grabbed the handrail on the little red horse? As the machine started, the disc began to rotate slowly, and the little red horse also slid up and down. The colorful lights make the whole disc look beautiful. Accompanied by soft music, Ye Kamito was very curious. As the disc rotated, the surrounding scenery was constantly changing in the eyes of Ye Kamito. Hey, this is so interesting. Ye Kamiko had never seen this before. She stared in amazement and kept looking around, curious about everything she saw. Seeing Ye Miko's performance, the staff curled their lips. I'm an old hat. I've never played a merry-go-round. Chapter 38, Ye Miko's amusement park trip. 3 minutes is still a short time. When the time was up, the wooden horse stopped and the disc stopped spinning. Yeah? Why didn't you move? Ye Kamiko was having fun, but suddenly stopped moving and reached out to pat the little red horse that was sitting down. What to shoot? The time is up. If you want to play, add more money. Hearing the impatient words of the staff, Ye Kamiko really wanted a thunderbolt to blow him away. Stop playing. What a piece of crap. Since when did I suffer this kind of anger? Ye Shinsi is not going to play anymore. What's the big deal? I walked out of the carousel area in a few steps, but I had to look back every few steps, and my mouth was still full of anger. Intelligence room. Cooley, wow. What is this? Kelly really want to play. Kaya, this looks quite interesting. Diana, I'm really looking forward to other games. What is it? Barbara, wow. I'm so envious that I can go in and play. I also want to play on that carousel. Hu Tao, why did you choose me last time? Can't you choose me this time? Qing, all of this is Fang Yue's conspiracy. Don't forget the business. Ning Guang, it's okay. Just follow you when the time comes. Yin Fei, it's okay. Just follow you when the time comes. Qing, you guys, I won't tell you anymore. Qing is annoyed. It seems that the name of her Fang Yue locator will never be taken off. Lei Movie. Son of God. Have you forgotten why you went in? Lei Movie wants to remind Ye Miko, but now she is full of other amusement facilities, so she still has time to watch the intelligence room. Seeing that Ye Shinsi didn't answer, Lei Ying frowned. How could this Shinsi play with his Sashi like this? If you go in by yourself, you definitely won't. Play at most once, just go to Fang Yue, so you won't be like her. Leaving the merry-go-round, Ye Miko came to a circled field, where there were still some things she couldn't name. Seeing a sign at the door, Ye Miko walked over in a few steps. Bumper cars. What does this mean? Ye Shinsi has no idea. The good thing is the staff. How would you play this? In view of the attitude of the previous staff member, Ye Miko didn't intend to be polite to him. Oh, this is a bumper car. 10,000 more as at once. Yes, guest. The staff's attitude was much better, which made Ye Miko decide to try. Under the guidance of the staff, Ye Miko got into the car and started it. This time it is for children to play. The driving is not complicated after the staff talked about it. Ye Miko got started directly, and the game was really sneaky. Can you move by yourself without external force? Ye Miko was surprised. The game in this space seems to be more interesting than what I thought. While she was still happily driving the car, she was suddenly hit by someone from behind, caught off guard, and almost knocked her out. Looking back viciously, he saw that the staff member was also driving a bumper car, and he was the one who bumped into himself just now. Damn it. I thought he had a good attitude just now, but I didn't expect to reveal his true colors so soon. Seeing that Ye Shinsi misunderstood, the staff explained, Guest, this bumper car is going to be bumped and bumped like this. It is fun when there are many people. Now there are no other tourists, so I have to play with you. It turned out to be like this. No wonder it is called a bumper car. Ye Shinsi understood and immediately drove his own car towards the staff. Sure enough, when the car collided, it shook and staggered crookedly. Hey, this is interesting. Ye Kamiko regained his spirits immediately, chased after the staff, and started bumping into each other. The staff member came in to play with her, so he kept letting her go. In less than a while, he was knocked into the corner by Ye Shinsi. This made Ye Kamito very proud. It seems that he is quite good. She was so happy when suddenly her car stopped. Add money. After passing the merry-go-round, she knew it was time and pulled out the Moraga money without saying a word. Bang, bang, bang. Add money. Bang, bang, bang. Add money. In the pure land of one heart, Lei's eyes twitched watching the movie. Son of God, what's going on with you? Are you still looking for Fang Yue? If you don't look for it, let me in, and I'll look for it myself. Time up. The treasure chest points have dropped to 400,000 points, and players will be drawn again. Lei Movie and Kelly. The time is up so soon. Ye Miko was hitting hard, but she didn't expect the time to come. After seeing Lei Movie's name, she was a little embarrassed. It was agreed to come in and look for Fang Yue. So why did I play it? After getting out of the car, she went outside and waited for Lei Movie's arrival. She didn't know how she would be reprimanded later. Huh? Am I selected? Lei Ying narrowed his eyes. It seemed that he could go in. Swish. 2 figures appeared in the game space. Wow. I'm finally in. Kelly cheered. She had been envious for a long time. Even Mora was ready. She was actually chosen and started running toward the bumper car on her short legs. Lei Movie didn't bother Kelly and walked over after looking for Ye Shensi. Seeing Lei Movie rushing towards him, Ye Miko was a little embarrassed. That, shadow this, son of God, pay. After saying a word, Lei Movie rushed directly into the bumper car area. That impatient look was even more urgent than that of Kelly. Chapter 39 Lei Movie. You scumbag, entering the bumper car area. Lei Movie got on a bumper car directly, his eyes filled with excitement. Here, Kelly had already paid the money and drove the car around, stepped on the accelerator a few times. But the car didn't move. She turned her head and urged Ye Shensi. Why are you so stunned, Pei? Okay, you're the boss. Ye Shensi reluctantly took out the money, and then Lei Ying drove his bumper car towards Kelly. For a while, the sound of bang bang resounded throughout the playground. It was also the first contact, but it was obvious that Kelly was more talented, and she bumped Lei Ying into a corner after a while. Ha ha ha. Sister Ying, you can't do it. Not as good as Kelly. Cooley pouted at Lei Movie. With a proud look, anyone who saw it would want to go up and teach her a lesson. Help, son of God. Come on. Come on. Ye Shensi liked to hear these words. He paid the money quickly, drove his own car, and started to support Lei Movie. In less than a while, the 2 adults were bumped into a corner and looked at each other in dismay. Haha, Kelly is indeed the best. Aditi, intelligence room. Kin, this, Kali is too naughty. In the beginning, Kelly was called Lei Ying. When she was her sister, her heart was in her throat. This is Lei Shun. You call her sister? Later, he even knocked him into a corner and shivered. Seeing this scene, Hao Xin couldn't hold his breath, so he just pulled it over. Fortunately, Lei Movie didn't care about her as a child. Kaya, this is really an unexpected situation. Toma, this game may be better for children's talents. Xiaogong, that makes sense. Some of our Dao wife children are also quite good at playing games. Kamisato Ayaka, Lord Thunder God may see Xiao Kelly as a child, so let her go on purpose. Kujo Shaluo, of course. How could Lord Thunder God bully a child? Seeing that Dao's wife and his wife were all justifying Lei Movie, Fang Yue laughed and spoke directly. Fang Yue, playing with food is playing with food, where there's so many excuses. 2 adults are not as good as 1 child, and you have many reasons. Wendy, that's right, it's really delicious. If you don't believe me, let me go in and try it out. Keep it in minutes and make her a man. Zhongli, in terms of universal rationality, it is indeed a dish. Others dare not complain, but these 2 don't care. They can say whatever they want. Mapplehara Manyo, in terms of playing games, it's really good. Beidou, Yoho, little brother, you are so courageous. Fang Yue, by the way, do you still remember what you should do? Hu Tao, go while you die. How can you have fun with bumper cars? Xiangling, go while you die. How can you have fun with bumper cars? Xingqiu, the only one who still wants to find you is Chongyun. Xingqiu's words reminded everyone that Chongyun was really looking for Fang Yue in the picture. That meticulous attitude made people give a thumbs up. Ning Guang, alas, is an honest boy. In the game space, Lei Movie has long forgotten about looking for Fang Yue. and now she has one thing on her mind: to beat this little girl in front of her. Xiao Kelly is still very talented in playing games. When driving a small car, she is as slippery as a loach. Often the two of them rush towards her in a double team, and they bump into each other. Shadow, can you stop obstructing me all the time? I said this to you, Miko. If it weren't for you, I would have bumped into her. Oh, come on. The person who bumped into the guardrail on the other side, you hit her. That's because you've always been in the way. Snort. Cut. The two turned their heads and stopped looking at each other. Ye Kamiko made up his mind that after the time was up this time, he would go to play other sports by himself, so he didn't want to play with the guy who picks his feet. 3 minutes passed quickly, and the car of several people also stood up by itself. Ye Shensi jumped out of the car and walked outside. Where are you going? Seeing that she really didn't want to play anymore, Lei Movie asked aloud. I won't play with you anymore. I'll play other things. Hearing this, Lei Movie quickly got out of the car and walked up in a few steps. The corner of Ye Shensi's mouth curled up. It seemed that in Ying's heart, he was more important. As soon as he sees me angry, he will come to coax me immediately. Turning around and seeing Lei Movie approaching, Ye Miko turned his face away. What do you want to say? Just say it quickly. I have to play other things. Lei Movie spread his hands. Save some more for me, and go yourself. You UBD. Ye Shensi almost died of anger. I'm still not your family member. I am still not your best friend. You treat me like this? Hurry up. As Lei Movie said, the hand asking for money ticked off. No way. Ye Shensi directly broke the defense, turned around and left. She would never see this heartless person again. Pooh, you scumbag. If you don't give it, you won't give it. Why is the son of God still angry? Lei Ying stood there in a daze. He was penniless now. What should he do if the son of God left? Kelly's innocent voice came from behind. Sistering, come and play. Looking at Kuli driving around in the car, Lei Duan shed tears of poverty. Seeing that Lei Movie didn't move, little Kelly also ran out of the car and asked, Sistering, are you out of money? Kelly has a lot. I invite you. Playing bumper cars alone is boring. So Kelly directly took out a big push of Mora from her school bag and invited Lei Movie to play with her. Xiao Kelly, from now on you will be Dao wife's most honored guest. Lei Movie gave Kelly a big thumbs up, held her little hand, and headed towards the bumper car again. Ye Shensi? Who? Really don't know. Don't contact me again in the future. I'm afraid Xiao Kelly will misunderstand. Chapter 40. Why does your car have no steering wheel? After the angry Ye Shensi came out, he saw that Lei Ying didn't chase him out. There was also Kelly's silver bell-like laughter. Looking back, I was suddenly saddened by it. As expected, I still paid by mistake. The friendship of hundreds of years is not as good as 10,000 moras. On a hot day, she only felt cold hands and feet, and there was a burst of singing in her ears. Snowflakes are fluttering, and the north wind is blowing. The world is boundless. Humph. It's better for me to play by myself. Muttering angrily, Ye Shensi quickly walked away from this sad place. The time is up. The points have dropped to 300,000 points, and players will be drawn again. Yunjin and Barbara. I hit it. Yay! Inside the West Wind Cathedral, there was a sudden exclamation. Rosalia, who was about to skip work, was startled by the sound, glanced at the church, shrugged her shoulders, and continued walking towards the tavern. Is that so interesting? Intelligence room. Arataki Ichido. Ah, it's not me. I want to play with bumper cars. Juki Ren. Boss, that requires money. Can you afford it? Ning Guang. 10,000 moras are also called money. Geking is dus. 000 moras, also called money. Zinkyu. 10,000 moras are also called money. Delook. Is 10,000 moras called money? Paimon. Is this the world of the rich? I'm so envious. Xiangling. 10,000 mora is not much. So there are people who can't even afford 10,000 mora? Zhongli. In terms of general rationality, 10,000 moras is really not much, and it should be possible to get all of them out. Fang Yue. I was offended, thank you. Mona. I was offended, thank you. Walnut at Zhongli. Don't put on airs there. I'll just ask, can you do it? Zhongli. Well, I've been a little tight lately. I check my pockets, all right. He really couldn't get it out. Looking at the tea and snacks in front of him again, he sighed. I had no choice but to send it to the pastoral hall. After making up his mind, he took a sip of the tea and looked at the game space again. Barbara and Yunjin appeared in the game space, and they looked at each other. Go for the bumper cars or the carousel first. Merry-go-round. I think that's interesting. Good. After speaking, the two were like two sisters, holding hands and heading towards the carousel. Fang Yue, who was always paying attention to space, was speechless. You really don't plan to look for me. Although Fang Yue can win in this way, he is also happy, but he is still very upset, and you are not going to play with me anymore. Barbara and Yunjin didn't know what Fang Yue was thinking. They came to the carousel area, paid the money. Each chose a carousel and sat on it. When the lights came down and the wooden horse rotated, Barbara immediately felt relieved and hummed a song softly. Yunjin also felt that it was a novelty. As soon as this person was happy, he wanted to use these two voices loudly. Yunjin also started to sing, but she was singing an opera. Ye Shenxi happened to be not far away, and when he heard a voice, he wanted to go and have a look. As soon as he got closer, he saw two young girls sitting on a wooden horse, bouncing together. It's just something sung in the mouth. It's a bit hard to describe. Originally, it was fine for the two to sing separately, but it was easy to contagious when the voice was loud. Barbara hummed and hummed the taste of opera. Yunjin was not much better. She was influenced by Barbara within a short time, and she just sang the opera like a concert. Seeing the two people who seemed to be unaware, Ye Kamito shuddered. It's better not to join in, so as not to be infected by these two people. Just standing on the side and listening to it has a weird feeling, and the staff next to her twitching. Leaving the carousel, Ye Miko's sight was attracted by a strange thing. Why is this bumper car so long? Seeing this strange bumper car, Ye Miko instantly became interested. Such a long bumper car must be more enjoyable to crash than that small one. Ye Miko decided to try this. She found that the bumper car was on a steel railway, just one track, so she would definitely not crash it. After getting closer, I found that there is also a sign here. The Devil's Roller Coaster? What is a roller coaster? Ye Miko doesn't understand. She knows bumper cars now. Forget it, try it. She was about to go in when Barbara and Yunjin behind her stopped her. Turning around, he asked in confusion, "Why are you here? Don't play that carousel anymore." Barbara was a little embarrassed and turned her head in embarrassment. Yunjin said angrily, "That thing is not fun at all. I don't even care about playing with it." I understand. It was the staff member who offended them. That's right. That's not fun at all. Let's try this. Ye Shenxi also echoed. She was also terrified by that anger. Well, well. The two nodded repeatedly. They were curious about everything they saw now, so it didn't matter what he was playing as long as he was playing. After paying the money, the three of them were arranged to sit on the roller coaster, and the staff carefully buckled the safety valve for several of them. Ye Kamiko sat in the first row with an armrest in front of her and no steering wheel. I stretched out my foot and stepped on it a few times, but I didn't find the accelerator and brake. This is nothing. What do you want me to play? He asked. Why doesn't your car have a steering wheel? The staff was dumbfounded by her question. What kind of steering wheel do you want? Do you still want to turn a corner on it or something? Chapter 41 Devil's Roller Coaster Ding. The bell rang, and the roller coaster began to move forward slowly. Barbara frowned. The speed was too slow, without the lights and music of the carousel. This made her feel cheated. Ye Shenxi felt that this was too boring. So what's the point of just sitting like this? Boom, boom, boom. The roller coaster starts to climb the first steep slope, and the speed is even slower. Sitting on a board, Yunjin said a little bored. It seems that this roller coaster is not fun. Let's play bumper cars later. Well, it's not fun to just sit like this. Barbara responded as well. I always feel that my 10,000 moras have been cheated. The first steep slope was still very high. When the roller coaster was about to reach the top, the three girls glanced around and had a panoramic view of the amusement park. It turns out that this is for viewing the scenery. As Ye Kamiko said, he still looked down, and not far away, he could see Lei Ying being knocked upside down by Kelly. Cut. It's useless. Even a child can't play with it. After contemptuously taking a look at Lei Movie, Ye Miko was going to look at the playground from a different angle. so that he could try other projects later. But as soon as she turned her head, she realized that something was wrong. The rails in front of the roller coaster were unexpectedly invisible. Looking down, Ye Shensi gasped. That's not the case. Thinking of something, Ye Miko immediately grabbed the handrail in front of her. Just now, she hadn't paid attention to the scene after the railroad track was extended. Now, at the highest point, she saw the circles of railroad tracks behind her, and her heart sank. Barbara in the back row saw Ye Miko's appearance and thought he was afraid of heights. A word of comfort. Miss Ye, in fact, this is not too high, so don't be afraid. Ye Kimiko ignored him, still holding onto the handrail firmly. Are you that scared? Yin Jin was a little puzzled. Ye Shensi is also a member of Thunder God, so is he still afraid of heights? The roller coaster finally reached the highest point and began to slide down. Barbara and Yun Jin also saw the scene ahead, and they swallowed together. From turtle speed to fast speed, the roller coaster only took 2 seconds to complete, and the 3 girls fell downward at a fast speed. Suddenly, the 3 of them felt a sense of weightlessness, and their hearts rose to their throats. Ah! Barbara was the first to bear it and screamed. Ah! After being yelled at by her like this, Yin Jin couldn't bear it anymore. Immediately opened his throat and called out. It's just that there's a bit of drama in it, which makes people feel a little weird. Hold it back. Ye Kamito grabbed the handrail desperately, resisting the urge to scream. He was Ye Miyazaki. If this is shouted out loudly, don't mess around in the intelligence room in the future. The roller coaster took the 3 of them through the rings, going up and down for a while, and finally slowed down. Seeing the roller coaster slowing down, the 3 girls' eyes widened. In front of them was a cloud-like slope, and the roller coaster was slowly climbing towards it. Intelligence room. Kaya. Wow. This is amazing. How high is this? Hu Tao. Oh my God. If this comes down from above, won't Yin Jin and the others be fainted by fright? Fang Yue, look at you. Isn't it just a roller coaster? That's what I said. But at this moment, Fang Yue's legs are a little weak. He used to ride a roller coaster when he was a child, but this is a systematic amusement park. Can it be the same as that of ordinary people? Not to mention sitting down, just looking at him feels scary. The last steep slope was probably 1,000 meters high. Amber, you said it lightly. I feel scared when I fly around every day. Cooking. Ning Guang has always lived in a high place, so she probably won't be afraid of this. Ning Guang, I'm sorry, I'm afraid. This Qing is getting worse and worse. What does it mean to set yourself up hard? Beidou, Yoho, it's the first time I've heard something that you'd be afraid of too. Lisa, come here, come to the highest point. Everyone is ready to start video recording. Kin from On's office glanced at Lisa and said, Lisa, you have changed a lot. I've changed. Lisa pointed to the green dot under the piano screen and said, I'm afraid it's you who changed. You even recorded videos of your own sister. I forgot to turn it off. Quickly shut down in a panic. Lisa was speechless. You haven't seen all this. Why are you covering up? At the highest point, the 3 girls shuddered, and Barbara even closed her eyes. But this feeling of weightlessness cannot be avoided by closing your eyes. The roller coaster swooped down, and the screams of the 2 girls echoed throughout the amusement park. Lei Ying, who was colliding vigorously with Kelly, felt bad when he heard the scream. She could hear the panic in the cry. Is something wrong? Called to stop Kelly, who bumped into her. She was going to have a look. She couldn't let other people have an accident here. It's Sister Barbara's voice. Kelly also heard this voice and immediately judged that it was Barbara's voice, so she stopped playing immediately and started running toward the starting point of the voice with Lei Movie. Chapter 42, Liyue, people do good deeds and never leave their names, sliding down the last steep slope. The roller coaster began to slow down and finally stopped at the exit. The staff came forward and asked kindly, Guest, are you still playing? Also play. Barbara shook her head again and again. She wanted to get up and escape from here, but now her legs were weak and she couldn't even stand up. Seeing this, the staff also came over, helped her down, and took her to a bench beside her to rest. Then he helped Yin Jin over and let her sit side by side. When he was about to help Ye Shensi waved his hand and refused. I am Ye Gongji. If someone helps me out, wouldn't it be a joke? But at this moment, her legs are also weak. thinking of resting on it for a while, and then go out. Seeing her appearance, the staff thought she wanted to continue playing. Guest, if you want to continue playing, you need to pay. Still going on. You want me to die on it. But my legs were weak and I couldn't stand up, so I was a little embarrassed for a while. Seeing that she hadn't paid, the staff thought that she had no money, so they turned and left. Anyway, no one is playing now, and he is not in a hurry to drive Ye Shensi out, so let her stay up there for a while. Barbara and Yun Jin watched the whole process from his side, and they were immediately shocked. They deserved to be Dao's wife's palace secretary, but they were better than us mortals. Maybe Mora of the Yegong division has invited Thor, thinking that Ye Shensi might not have the money to continue playing. Yunjin immediately decided that I will pay for Ye Gongji's money. He called the staff and gave instructions in a low voice, not forgetting to tell him not to tell Ye Shensi that he invited her. We Liyue people do good deeds and never leave names behind. After finishing speaking, he and Barbara supported each other and walked out tremblingly. Zinkyu, oh my God, is Mr. Yun a devil? King this. Is this considered doing bad things with good intentions? Everyone in the intelligence room could have seen it, and Ye Miko's mouth was trembling in fright. Only Yunjin and Barbara sitting in the back didn't know. Kamelai Ayato, it's over. Kamisato Ayaka. I hope that Mr. Gong Si will not have any good or bad. Fang Yue, please give our beloved Lord Ye Miyagi a full service. Hu Tao, received the service of our Xiangxing Hall. Needless to say, all the ones that have been used have given positive reviews by default. Xiao Gong, is it so powerful? What do you do? Yin Fei, funeral service. Ku King, funeral services. Xiao Gong, farewell, excuse me. Seeing that Barbara and Yunjin had already walked out, Ye Shensi was about to get up. She didn't want to experience this thing a second time. Ding! When the bell rang, Ye Shensi was taken aback, pushed the safety bar on his body, and remained motionless. Suck! Taking a deep breath, the roller coaster started to start again. Ma'am, it's over. Sister Barbara. Barbara, who had just walked out, saw two figures, one big and one small, running from a distance. When he came closer, Lei Yang saw two people with disheveled hair and pale face, thinking that something happened. What happened? Where's the son of God? She still cared about Miko. Seeing that Ye Miko was missing, she hurriedly asked. When mentioning Ye Shensi, the two immediately looked like they were adoring, chatting nonstop. Lei Movie understands it. Isn't it just playing a game? These two people were so frightened. It was because of the help of their own gods. One time was not enough, so they had to do it again. Immediately said indifferently, Son of God, as my family member, has experienced all kinds of dangers. This kind of small game will not scare her. On the surface, he was calm, but in his heart, he was very proud. Liyue and Mengda's people are not good. A small game is scary, and look at her Dao wife, that is quite brave. What is the gap? What is the pattern? Well. The second daughter also nodded in agreement. In their opinion, the Ye Shensi is simply a heavenly man, not under the gods. After riding the roller coaster, she can still be so calm. She is really a strange woman in the world. Boom, boom. At this time, the roller coaster drove out of the platform and began to go to the first steep slope. Several people also looked up at Ye Kamiko in the car, and Ning nodded to her in satisfaction. This wave is not bad. It makes Dao's wife look good. But then several people saw Ye Kamito's expression on the verge of crying. The second daughter rubbed her eyes, wondering if she had read wrong. Lei Yingying also saw it, and she understood that Ye Shensi was asking her for help. But you have gone up. How can I save you? For Dao's wife's face, you have to die on top of me. It seems that Shensi is in a good state, and she is still joking. She used to be like this. Lei Movie forcefully explained. Barbara and Yun Jin finally understood what was going on, so they would have to face the pain if they didn't die. But when Lei Shendu said so, he could still refute it. He could only nod in agreement. Hey, Sister Shensi is going to cry? She seems to be very scared. Kelly's innocent words reached the ears of several people, and the atmosphere was a little awkward for a while. Xiao Kelly, that's just a joke of the Son of God. She has always been like this. Lei Movie explained to Kelly again. For this little lowly, Lei Movie still prefers, especially the things in her school bag. I especially like it. It just so happened that the roller coaster had reached a high place and began to dive downward. Ing, save me. I'm going to die. This is definitely going to die. Lei Movie's face darkened. Damn, I try my best around you up here. Why do you keep slapping me in the face? Chapter 43 Fang Yue. Am I redundant? Intelligence Room. Kaya, the Liyue people murdered the Rice wife Gongxi. Why don't you come out and explain? Wendy, yes, you Liyue people are really hospitable. Qing, this is an accident. It's an accident. Yilan, Yinjin can't be blamed for this. She also has good intentions. Camelai, Ayato, please give this kindness to the people of Liyue. Judieo, Shaluo. That's right. We are small. We can't stand up to you. Fang Yue, my son of God is super brave. JPG at this time. Fang Yue thoughtfully attached a screenshot. At the bottom of the picture is Lei Movie talking to Barbara with a proud face. And above is Ye Kamito's terrified face. Dad Alia. This is quite expressive. Lisa. Great stuff, I'll collect it first. D. Luke. I'll collect it first and use it as a family heirloom. Kaya. You have too many family heirlooms. Fang Yue burst out laughing when he saw the intelligence room speech. This group of players has become more and more sand sculptures recently. Thinking about it in my heart, the time for the second time is coming soon. Fang Yue thought to himself, will it be those two victims again this time? The system quickly gave the answer. The time is up. The points have dropped to 300,000, and players will be drawn again. Granu, Ganyu. Swish. Ganyu and Granu were teleported into the game space. Granu entered this space for the first time, looked at it curiously, and said to Ganyu, Miss Ganyu, I want to see how the carousel works. How about you? In. Ganyu didn't know where to go. When she came in, Ning Guang asked her to relax inside. But although there are some leisure items in it, she doesn't know her. If she chooses someone like Ye Kamiko, won't she be laughed at? After thinking for a while, he said, I'd better go see the Son of God first. After all, the Son of God saw that he was Sister Ganyu, and Sister Ganyu called her. Don't worry about it. It's unreasonable. Okay, then I'll go first. After nodding to Ganyu, Granu walked towards the carousel area. Ganyu didn't stop her. She came to the platform of the roller coaster and waited for Ye Shensi to come down. As for Yinjin and Barbara, they were afraid that Ye Shensi would settle accounts with them later, so they ran away early and disappeared. After Lei Movie confirmed that there was no danger, he also left with Xiao Kelly. Letting herself lose such a big person, she doesn't want to see Ye Shensi, a scumbag now. On the platform, only Ganyu's solitary figure remained. Accompanied by Ye Shenko's scream, the roller coaster slowly drove into the platform. After coming to a complete stop, Ganyu hurried up to check on Ye Shensi's status. I saw that her hair was disheveled. Tears were still hanging on her pale face. Her mouth was trembling. Obviously, she was very frightened. God, are you all right? Ganyu asked cautiously. This is the first time she has seen Ye Kamito in this state. Turning his head mechanically, seeing that it was actually Ganyu, Ye Shensi threw himself into Ganyu's arms. Wow, Sister Ganyu, help me, I'm about to die. Ganyu comforted her repeatedly and then helped her out of the roller coaster. She was afraid that if another kind person passed by later, Ye Shensi would faint on it. Sitting down on the bench, Ye Shensi breathed a sigh of relief. Her feet were still soft, and she looked at Ganyu with gratitude. Sister Ganyu is still reliable. So what does Lei's movie mean? Leaving yourself alone and running away. Is this how you treat your girlfriends? It's decided. I'll move to Liyue when I go back this time. This Dao wife can't stay anymore. Why do you have so many questions? Do you want to play or not? If you don't play, go out. The staff of the carousel is about to collapse. What's the matter with this woman? She paid the money and didn't play. So she chased herself and asked questions. The point is that she asked very profound questions. How does this work? Is this power steam or electricity? Why can the power be stabilized within a range? If I use bioalchemy, can I also create something like this? Are these things I can answer? If I can answer these questions, am I still selling you tickets here? Sir, there's still a lot I don't understand. Can I take that base apart and have a look? I promised to just look at it and never destroy it. Granu asked the staff tirelessly. She didn't get angry when you scolded her. On the contrary, she showed an attitude of learning humbly. Big sister, I just came in through the back door to sell tickets. I really can't answer your questions. Can you let me go? The staff is almost crying. You said you can ask these questions. Why are you embarrassing me? A staff member. That gentleman knows better than I do. A master is a teacher. Please don't hesitate to teach me, sir. I want to cry, but have no tears. Where did this group of people come from? Why can't they understand people's words? Reluctantly, he took out a small card from his pocket and handed it to Granu. Take it, take it. You are amazing. Let's go. After speaking, he disappeared directly. It's too shocking. You are a top student looking for me to study with a scumbag? Do you want to be like this for Sai? Player Granu got clue 1. Granu was stunned for a moment. What happened? Why did he run away? He glanced at the small card in his hand. A place where the sun does not shine is the best hiding place. Is this a clue to Mr. Fang Yue? After muttering, Granu casually threw the clue into the trash can beside him. Go to the next staff member. Chapter 44, Big Money Little Lolita Fang. You was stunned to see Granu throwing the clues directly into the trash can. No, you are really not going to find me. Don't be like this. It will make me appear redundant. In the intelligence room, everyone also saw the performance of the sugar and spoke one after another. Bennett, just throw away the clue? Is this not wanting to share with others? Abito, I don't think that Sa Tang didn't want to find Fang Yue at all. Qin, is this the attitude towards academics? Admirable. Cooking. Finding Fang Yue is not as important as studying academics. Xing Qiu. Finding Fang Yue is not as important as studying academics. Wendy. Finding Fang Yue is not as important as a bumper car. Toma. Finding Fang Yue is not as important as studying academics. Mona. Didn't you find that there was a strange thing mixed in? Lisa at Wendy. As expected of you. The people in the intelligence room obviously paid more attention to the playground. Fang Yue was speechless. If I knew this was the case, I might as well hide it in a more comfortable place. In the following period of time, no one really want to find Fang Yue. As long as people come in, they will directly rush to those game items. Who cares about Fang Yue? Time is up. The points have dropped to 200,000. Draw players again. Diana, Maplebermanyo. Time is up. The points have dropped to 100,000. Players will be drawn again. Kujo Shero, Lisa. Time is up. The points have dropped to 50,000. In the last half hour, everyone participated. Swish. A large area of white light fell, and all players appeared in the playground. Come on. Oh, Fang Yue. No, you guys are looking for me. The information room was very quiet. No one answered. Fang Yue wanted to vomit blood. Are you playing with me? Isn't this a little too much? Picture.jpg Fang Yue. You just play and play. What do you mean by posting pictures? Everyone was eager to see it before, but now that they came in, they all rushed towards various game items like wild horses that had run wild. Only a few people didn't move, standing steadily in place. Hey, there are so many facilities. Most of them are boring projects, so you don't need to play them. Zhongli shook his head, expressing his disdain for the eagerness of these people. That's right. What's the fun in this? I'm not a kid anymore. When he chimed in, Humph, I don't want to play this game at all. It's extremely childish. Mona looked at the crowd, running wildly with a calm face. At this time, Kelly happened to pass by here, looked at the three of them, and said, Hey, big brother, big sister, don't you have any money? Kelly has a lot, please. Cough. Forget it. Just treat it as being with the children, and this is also part of wandering around the world. Zhongli followed Kelly first. Little Kelly, these projects are still a bit dangerous. Let the big brother protect you. Wendy followed and stood behind Kelly. Mona stared at the two with wide eyes. Do you still dare to be shameless? Two big men using other people's little girl's money? Kelly is so innocent and cute. You could do it too? No. I must not let these two people deceive Kelly. I want to protect Kelly. With that said, he stood at the back. Kansato Linghua was not far away. She was stunned seeing this scene. How could these people be like this? Simply inappropriate. Fortunately, there is no Dao's wife. Otherwise, where would this put the general's face? Wait a minute. I can't bear to see you like this. Is it interesting to bully little girls? Arataki Ito came from behind and picked up Xiao Kelly. Little Kelly, they want to lie to you. So let Big Brother take you to play. Ayaka Kansato watched with her veins throbbing. She didn't expect that our rice wife would be the one who disdains the most. Arataki took only 2 steps before he was caught. Boss, are you going to put Kelly back now? Or should I beat you up and put you back? Seeing Kuki Shinobu's fire-breathing eyes, Arataki Ichido put Kelly down in embarrassment. That Kali Big Brother thinks he still has something to do. I'll play with you after I finish my work. Ha ha ha. After speaking, he ran away quickly. Kelly tilted her head and looked at Huang Taki, who was leaving for a long time. Strange adults. Then he greeted the 3 people behind and said, "Let's go, the target bumper car." Zhongli's face is a little stiff. It's okay if you let him play other things, but playing bumper cars is really a bit of that. Let's find a chance to leave. Anyway, Kelly is not the only one in the wallet. Didn't Dadalia and Walnut also come in? Wendy and Mona are okay, following behind Kelly. After a while, several people came to the bumper car area. At this time, many people gathered around, all holding their breath. Kiki looked at the 2 people in the field. General Lei Dian said, "Inside, you shouldn't be addicted to this game. We still have an eternal mission to complete." "Where did you see that I was addicted? I'm also here for eternity." Lei Movie retorted, "It seems that it doesn't make sense to you, so I have no choice but to stop you here." General Lei Dian's eyes became sharper, and a trace of lightning flashed across his eyes. "It's up to you. If you can do it, you can try it." Lei Movie is also not afraid. The 2 looked at each other, and there was thunder and lightning intersecting in their eyes, making a crackling sound. The people next to them discussed for a while. "Wow, can you actually see the battle between the General and Leiden? This is exciting. Who do you think will win?" "Thunder God. After all, he is a real god." "I think it's the General." Judieo Shaluo stood on the side blankly, closed his eyes, and couldn't bear to look directly. "I said 2 adults, when you say these things, can you get off the bumper car first?" Seeing the atmosphere getting more and more dignified, the staff came over and said, "2 guests, are you still playing? If you don't want to play, come down first. The other guests are still waiting." "Ahem. Uh-huh." Choked by the staff, the 2 nodded quickly. Play. Add money now." Chapter 45 Ganyu. Your mirror contains me. As soon as there are more players in the amusement park, various facilities start to operate, presenting a lively scene. In some rest areas, several staff members appeared pushing freezers and food stalls, held up small red umbrellas, and started selling snacks. The most popular of these are shops selling cold drinks. Although there are ice creams in Tivat continent, but there are so many varieties here. What ice cream? Cones ice cream. The players who watched Tivat were dizzying. After a while, you can see many people, each with an ice cream, walking towards some entertainment items while licking it. Ye Shinsi, who finally recovered, also took a cone with Ganyu, looking around while walking. Ganyu made up her mind not to play those 2 exciting projects, so she wandered around in the amusement park, wanting to see some quieter rides. "Hey, Sister Ganyu, what do you think is that?" Ye Kamiko pointed to a room and said, "These projects are all open air, and now that there is such a closed project, Ye Shinsi immediately became interested. Go and see." Ganyu was also interested and came to the door with Ye Shinsi in a few steps. There's still a sign standing outside. Distorting mirror? What does that mean? The 2 looked at each other in blank dismay. Could it be that the mirrors were sold inside? Ye Shinsi's curiosity is still relatively strong. He paid the money immediately and rushed in with Ganyu. As soon as they entered the house, the 2 saw an empty hall with nothing but mirrors standing on both sides. Is it really selling mirrors? Ganyu wondered, why does this amusement park still sell mirrors? How stupid is this boss to sell mirrors in an amusement park? Ye Shinsi narrowed his eyes, feeling that he had discovered the truth, and said to Ganyu, "Sister Ganyu, selling mirrors in the amusement park is of course for the purpose of killing customers." Killer. Ganyu didn't understand. It's a question of whether it can be sold here. How can you kill customers? You don't know that, Ye Shinsi said with a deep expression. There are so many people in the amusement park. If you buy a mirror here, You will inevitably collide with people when you go out. When the time comes, the mirror is broken. So why don't we buy another one? Ganyu really wanted to open her head to see what was in it. And only you, a scumbag, could come up with this method. There's also a collision. Buy it again? Wouldn't it be okay if I didn't buy it from you? Open the store here. Only ghosts will come and buy it. Ghost? Puff. Ha ha ha. Ganyu was thinking about it. Ye Shinsi suddenly screamed, but then laughed again, making her look dazed. What's wrong? Looking at the laughing Ye Shinsi, Ganyu asked. Could it be that she scared the girl silly just now? Ye Shinsi pointed to a mirror behind Ganyu and let her look at it. Puff. Ganyu turned her head to look and couldn't help laughing out loud. In the mirror at the back, the tall and thin figures of the two were reflected, just like a bamboo pole. It turned out to be like this, which is a bit interesting. Ye Shinsi began to take Ganyu to take a picture of each other in a mirror. Every time I take a photo, I have to laugh for a long time. The figures of the two were reflected in all kinds of strange things by these mirrors, and Ganyu also found it very interesting. But when it was illuminated by a convex mirror, his face turned black. I saw Ganyu inside, short and fat, with fat arms, small thick legs, and a waist that was so many times wider. Isn't this my childhood self? Ye Shinsi didn't notice Ganyu's expression, and while posing, he looked at his chubby self in the mirror, having a great time. I don't want to play this. I'm going out first. Ganyu, whose head was about to smoke, walked out with her eyes closed. She always felt that the mirror was connoting her. Hey, why don't you play anymore? Ye Shinsi was surprised. She had never seen Ganyu when she was a child. But he stayed with me for a long time just now, and now I am embarrassed to stay here alone, so I immediately chased after him. Presumptuous. It's not that I don't give money. Why are you obstructing me? As soon as she left the haha mirror hall, Ganyu heard the sound of arguing next to her, which she was quite familiar with. Looking back, isn't this true monarch Liyun borrowing wind? Shenhe was still following him. It turns out that they're also players. The two of them haven't spoken, so Ganyu doesn't know that they came to this amusement park. True monarch. What's the matter? Seeing Ganyu approaching, Jinjuan Liyun borrowed the wind to raise his wings and pointed at the staff member, saying, You came just in time. Tell him quickly, why can't I play this racing car? Racing. Ganyu looked inside and saw Kaya and D. Luke driving something similar to a bumper car and running fast inside. Hello, this is our fairy Liyue. I don't know why you can't play with this racing car. The staff looked at Jinjuan Liyun borrowing the wind speechlessly. Why? Isn't this so obvious? You get her 2 hands out, and I'll let her in. It's just finding fault. All this. He looked at D. Luke inside, and then at Jinjuan Liyun borrowing wind. Jinjuan, why don't we play other games? Taking a look at his own wings, Jinjuan Liyun borrowing wind was a little embarrassed. That's all. I don't care if I don't play this racing car. With that said, he took Shenhe and walked out. Ganyu hurriedly followed. She was a little worried and thought it would be safer to go with her. Seeing a few people leaving, the staff snorted disdainfully. How about a fairy? Isn't it just an animal becoming a spirit? It's like who hasn't seen it before? These words happened to be heard by Ye Kamido, who followed. How? Animals eat your rice? You don't want to see me so much? If it weren't for this game space, you can see that I can't kill you. Chapter 46 on the other side. Ning Guang and his party were strolling in the amusement park, and one of them held an ice cream in his hand. Tell me, if we also build such an amusement park in Liyue, will it be very popular? Qing looked around and had to say that she liked this amusement park very much. Ning Guang shook her head and said, Funding is not a problem, but I'm afraid the technology won't work. There are some principles in it that they can't even understand. So how can this be done? Why don't you ask Fang Yue? Didn't he make this thing? Beidou proposed, and she also felt that Qing's proposal was good. Captain Beidou, don't be so rude. After all, Mr. Fang Yue is a master of the world, and basic respect is still required. Yin Fei was afraid that Beidou's outspokenness would offend Fang Yue. But Beidou didn't care about it. Said, Pull it down. Fang Yue has a very understanding temper. He is not so stingy. Just as several people were talking, they saw Qin also bring several people coming from the other side. Miss Ning Guang, are you also here to visit the haunted house? Haunted house? Ning Guang was puzzled. She just wandered around. Are there any ghosts here? Seeing Ning Guang's expression, Qin knew that she didn't know yet. So she pointed to a dark hole on one side and said, I heard from Amber that there is a haunted house inside, which seems quite interesting, so I came over to have a look. Ning Guang also glanced at the dark hole, and a gloomy feeling came over him. This is interesting. Why don't we go and see together? Hu Tao raised her eyebrows in the back. There was nothing to see about this ghost, but everyone was going, so she had no choice but to drag the reluctant Xiangling to follow. After paying the money, everyone entered it one after another. The space inside is not big. A long path stretches to the distance. The light is dim, and there are some noises coming from inside from time to time. Walnut, let's go out. Xiangling was behind, holding on to Hu Tao's arm, trembling when she walked. Walnut rolled his eyes. What's so scary about this? Don't we have little dealings with this aspect in Xiang Shengtang? With that said, he took the lead in walking ahead. Needless to say, with Hu Tao walking in front, everyone felt a lot more at ease. As the crowd went deeper, the light became increasingly dimmer. A black shadow suddenly appeared and immediately hugged Hu Tao. Xiangling behind saw this scene and immediately screamed. A walnut was caught by a ghost. Her cry made Yura, who was walking beside her, tremble. Originally, Eula had seen the black shadow appearing a long time ago and was not afraid in her heart, but Xiangling's voice almost sent her away. Fake, what's your name? Hu Tao speechlessly broke apart the dummy that was hugging her and even tapped on the dummy's body with her hand. Everyone also stepped forward to take a look. This dummy is so resembling that it can almost be mistaken for the real one. Qing stretched out her hand to touch and pinch the dummy. After walking for a while, many such scenes popped up. Seeing that it was all fake, everyone was a little disappointed and prepared to pass through this so-called haunted house quickly. After turning a few corners, something sounded in front. Again, Hu Tao was speechless. Just this sudden surprise can scare people. A few steps forward, look, he froze in place for an instant. Seeing Hu Tao's appearance, Qing quickly stepped forward to check and then froze there. Why is this? Beta didn't believe in evil, so he stepped over in a few steps and froze there. When everyone saw this, it was terrible, and they ran up quickly. In the end, Kiki froze in place, staring blankly at the scene that happened inside. Chongyin was exhausted today. He searched for a long time, but couldn't find Fang Yue, and finally found this haunted house. I thought I couldn't catch Fang Yue, so it would be good to go inside and see the ghosts. As a child of a family of exorcising demons, I have never seen a ghost in my life. How embarrassing it is to say it. As a result, I regretted it as soon as I came in. There are no ghosts here. They're all fake people. It immediately made him feel very bored. Thinking of passing quickly, he was a little anxious to leave. As soon as he turned the corner, he bumped into a female ghost who was holding a baby. It didn't matter that he bumped into it. The baby fell out of the ghost dummy's hand and fell into the stone even if he was alive. In such a situation, Chongyin couldn't just walk away and immediately bent down, trying to pick up the baby, who knew that the stone crevice was still a bit deep and he couldn't reach it. I thought about lying on the ground to pick it up, but the ground was too dirty and I was dressed in white. Glancing at the female ghost dummy who was still clasping her hands, she simply pulled her over and placed her under him, finally touched the baby's arm and lifted him up. Just as he was thinking about returning it to the female ghost dummy, suddenly there was a snapping screenshot behind him. Kindness. Turning his head to look, he saw a group of people standing behind him, all staring at him dumbfounded. Seeing the perverted eyes of everyone, Chongyin turned his head to look at the female ghost lying on the ground, and then looked at everyone. With a thump in my heart, I hurriedly shook the baby in my hand and said, "You misunderstood. I just want to retrieve this fake baby." Beidou came up and patted Chongyin on the shoulder. "Young man, you are so angry." Qing also came over, snatched the baby from his hands, and said, "Shameless, obscene. They have children, so you can do it too. It's wrong." Chongyin wants to cry, but has no tears. "Why don't you believe me?" Eula asked Yanfei in a low voice. "Are you Liyue people so brave? You don't even let the female ghost go." Yanfei was speechless. What should I say? She gave Chongyun a fierce look. This kid was so embarrassing that he was thrown abroad. Chapter 47 Undead Night Heavy Cloud Intelligence Room. Lisa. The map of heavy clouds and magic.jpg. Amber. Chongyun vs. female ghost picture.jpg. Walnut. Chongyun subdues the female ghost. Mother and child picture.jpg. Yura. Death Knight.jpg. The appearance of several screenshots instantly exploded the unusually quiet intelligence room. Many players who were still playing stayed where they were. The bumper cars stopped crashing, and a racing car drove directly into the hook next to it. Even the people on the roller coaster stopped screaming. How could a roller coaster be as exciting as this picture? Kamelai Ayato, oh my god. This way of eliminating demons is really unprecedented. Jujo Shaluo. Is this how Lei Movie subdues demons? No. Kaya, I can watch this stuff without paying? Kelly, huh? What is this big brother doing? Wendy, Kelly, don't look. Close your eyes quickly. Seeing Kelly's eyes widen and looking at the picture, Wendy quickly covered her eyes. Have these people forgotten that there are still minors in it? Kiki, harm. Scared, heavy. Yun, Van. Who? Tao. More. Ku. Scared. Xinkyu. FK, brother didn't see it. Are you so brave? Xing Qiu shuddered. Why didn't he usually notice that Chongyun had such a hobby? I'd better stop teasing him in the future, lest he do the same to me. My small body can't stand the torment. Jinjuan Luyun borrows the wind. Evil animal. Come quickly and lead to death. Moon cutting and Yang Jinjuan. What a vicious thief. Is this how your 7 stars manage Lei Movie? What a disappointment. Drill. Where is this kid? Wait for me to come and eliminate the harm. Shunhee. I'll go to your house later and talk to your parents. Chongyun. Annie, I was wronged. Zhongli. Is there a misunderstanding in this? Zhongli had a bit of a headache. This time Lei Movie was humiliated, but he felt that Chongyun should not be able to do this. Maybe there was some misunderstanding. After looking at the screenshots uploaded by Walnut, people suddenly feel bad. This girl didn't want to figure out how to find out the facts, but she actually took the lead in exposing. You were still not from Lei Movie. Chongyun. I am wronged. I really didn't do that. Kamisato Linghua. I have all the screenshots for what wrong you did. Xiao Gong. That's right. There are pictures and the truth. Fang Yue. Calm down. Chongyun really didn't do that. Can you stop listening to the wind and the rain? Seeing everyone condemning Chongyun, Fang Yue couldn't stand it anymore, but he knew what was going on. Now Mandrill is almost running to the door of the haunted house. If he doesn't come out to explain again, he is afraid that Chongyun will be stabbed right through by Mandrill. Diana. I already have screenshots, but I still want to quibble. Rosalia. Are you with him? Yura. Shameless. I should have let you starve to death at the star-picking cliff. Mona. It seems that you and Chongyun are the same. Why are you still accusing me? Didn't I just tell the truth? Is it necessary to say that to me? Fang Yue. The truth of the incident. Avi Fang Yue. Check it out, this is the whole process of the matter. When Chongyun bumped into the female ghost dummy and went to pick up the fake baby, Fang Yue turned on the video recording, which can be regarded as repaying Chongyun's innocence. He wanted to let those who listened to the wind to rain know what shame is, but things went beyond his expectations. Ye Miko. So that's the case, it's boring. Lisa, oh. Fortunately, I also collected a few large pictures. The result is like this, disappointed. Kaya. This is boring. Let's go. Fang Yue was shocked by the shamelessness of these people. So what you want is never the truth. Fang Yue withdrew a message. Ye Shensi. Chongyun. You don't even let off female ghosts? Kaya. Chongyun, what's going on? Are you not ready to explain? Wendy. Undead Night. How does it feel to come out and say it? Well, the crumbs are still your crumbs. If you withdraw it, just pretend you didn't see it. Ning Guang. Since the matter has been clarified, there is no need to hold on to it. Qing. Facts have proved that we, Lei Movie, can't do this kind of thing. Beidou. This kid Chongyun is fine, not as miserable as you think. Seeing that the matter was clear, the Lei Movie people started to jump out and speak out to Chongyun. They wanted to help just now, but they didn't know what to say. Now that he knows the cause and effect, naturally he can no longer let people slander Chongyun. This is related to Lei Movie's face. Chongyun looked at them with tears in his eyes. These are his relatives. Xinkyu. That's right. How upright we Chongyun are. I didn't believe it first. Chongyun. Get out. That's not what you said just now. After making a fuss for a while, the crowd dispersed again, seeing that there was no excitement to watch. The bumper car starts up again, and the racing car continues to speed. Time is up. Winner. Fang Yue. When the sound of the system appeared, many people were stunned. Is this time over? I can't get enough of it. How did this time pass so fast? No. Let me play again, even for a while. Well, Qing sighed. The time is up so soon. She hasn't played a few games since she came in, so she has to go back again. Just as she was thinking about it, she suddenly felt that something was wrong with the fake child she was holding in her hand. His eyes widened in an instant. Chapter 48. Fang Yue, the old fairy, has boundless mana watch as the dummy child in your hand keeps getting bigger and heavier. Qing couldn't help thinking of something, and stood there with a strange expression on her face. Not long after, Fang Yue appeared, but her posture was a bit ambiguous. He was being embraced by Qing in the way of a princess at the moment. Subconsciously, Fang Yue wrapped his arms around Qing's neck. Click, click. The sound of screenshots kept ringing. It was only then that Qing realized that she threw Fang Yue to the ground and turned her head to see the people who were still taking screenshots, and their breathing was a bit difficult. Ouch! Fang Yue, who was still immersed in Qing's warm embrace, woke up suddenly after being thrown like this and stretched out her hands in a panic, trying to grab something to prevent herself from falling. Stab! Fang Yue, who fell to the ground, saw that there was an extra piece of cloth in his hand, and it still exuded a fragrant smell. Qing felt a chill all over her body and quickly squatted down with her hands folded over her chest, meeting Fang Yue, who fell to the ground. I said it was an accident. Do you believe it? What do you say? Qing can't wait to give this guy a sword now. She has grown up so much, and she has never been bullied like this before. Staring at Fang Yue with both eyes, he was about to burst into flames. Hey, you watched Chongyun's performance, and you can't wait. Beidou was used to being wild on the boat. He dared to say anything, and immediately came up and joked. I was an accident. Fang Yue argued that he did not want to be charged with assaulting the chest. Accident? Then you're really good at this accident, and you caught it quite accurately. Beidou approached with a smile, came to Fang Yue's ear and asked, Is it fragrant? Fang Yue was taken aback by her question, and by a strange coincidence, he put the cloth in his hand to the tip of his nose and smelled it. Xiang, what's wrong? UBD, seeing his movements, Qing almost died of anger, and she reached out to snatch it regardless of whether he was gone or not. As a result, his feet slipped, and he rushed towards Fang Yue, and his chest just hit Fang Yue's face. A piece of soft, this time more fragrant. Click, click. The sound of screenshots began to sound crazily. Qing didn't care anymore. She had to grab it back today, so she just pressed Fang Yue and reached out to grab it. Fang Yue didn't resist and didn't want to resist, allowing Qing to snatch back the pieces of clothes. Qing, who finally got back the pieces of clothes, was a little aggrieved, squatting on the ground without moving, just looking at Fang Yue like this, with an expression of about to cry. Smiling awkwardly at Qing, Fang Yue glanced left and right, trying to find something to approve for Qing. First of all, he glanced at the few people in the gaze, and saw that they were all wearing single clothes, and one was cooler than the other. It was impossible to expect them to take off their clothes for Qing to wear. After looking at the dummy on the ground, it was too dirty and inappropriate. He simply took off his coat. This move of hers startled Qing. What are you doing? Could it be that this guy's bestiality has flared up? Are you going to finish today? The women behind also surrounded Qing to protect Qing. In their eyes, Fang Yue's strength is too strong, and if they really do something to them, they probably won't be able to resist. But as a woman, Fang Yue must not be allowed to be so unscrupulous. Seeing the defensive expressions of the girls, Fang Yue froze and threw the clothes over. I said, what kind of image do I have in your mind? Quickly covering Qing, the girls were a little embarrassed. I thought Fang Yue too badly just now. Hastily opened his mouth to praise. Ning Guang, show air, Qin, a hero in the world. Yin Fei. upright, and courageous. Beidou, very awesome. Look, this level of culture is immediately reflected. Hu Tao, human face and animal heart. Xiangling, smelly shameless. All the girls looked over directly. What's the matter with you two? Fang Yue rolled his eyes. It seems that the cultural level of these two people is not high, especially Hu Tao, who is also a dark poet. Hu Tao was also taken aback. Did he say something wrong? Quickly corrected. Wrong, wrong. I'm talking about a beast in clothes. Hey, not really. It should be a wolf-hearted dog. No, it's worse than a beast. No, I made a mistake again. I am devoid of conscience. Shut up. Fang Yue's veins were throbbing when he heard it. What was in this guy's head? Let her continue talking. Maybe there will be some words against the sky. I was surprised. Logically speaking, Hu Tao's culture is not low. Look at her praise of Ning Guang. What bright eyes are good at looking at. Peaches are ashamed, and apricots are shy. How nice it sounds. How'd it get to me? It changed the taste. After finally suppressing the anger caused by Hu Tao, she looked at Ning Guang and said, "Is this how Lei Movie educates children?" Ning Guang was also a little embarrassed. This Hu Tao managed to lower Lei Yue's cultural level by herself. Walnut, stop talking nonsense. Xiangling whispered to Hu Tao from the side. You have to say, Fang Yue, the old fairy, has boundless magic power. The law drives Lei Yue to rule the 7 kingdoms. What is this all about? Fang Yue is almost collapsed by these people. Isn't this Ding Chunkeyu's way of playing? Do you want to build a sedan chair for yourself in the future and let people carry it around? Then Ning Guang and others led the way and sang lyrics. Fang Yue, the old fairy, has boundless mana. He can control Lei Yue and rule the 7 kingdoms. FK. It's quite exciting to think about it. Chapter 49, Zhong Er sees Zhong Er shaking his head. He threw out the messy thoughts in his head. Fang Yue is not going to be wasted in this haunted house. There's so many game items. I haven't played them yet. I don't know how long this space can last. If I don't hurry up, I'm afraid I won't be able to play any of them. This space can continue to play now, so I will go out first. With that said, Fang Yue strode outside. He didn't want to stay with these women now. Others are okay, mainly because of Qing's appearance, which makes him a little embarrassed. Stepping out of the haunted house, Fang Yue turned his head to one side to avoid the direct sunlight. He has been in the haunted house for a long time, and now he is still a little uncomfortable with such a strong light. After getting used to it, Fang Yue saw the staff next to the haunted house and was stunned. What the hell am I playing? Just now Fang Yue only thought about going out to play first, but only now did he realize that he is a poor ghost. The whole body is cleaner than the face. What a ghost. The amusement park is now acquiring Mora 7.31 million. Do you want to extract? The money earned by the amusement park is actually mine. Fang Yue blinked, a little surprised. As the system is stingy, how could it be kind? The host wins the game. The space is now owned by the host. Suck. Taking a deep breath, Fang Yue asked, that is to say, I can open this space as I want in the future? Yes, host. Hey. Fang Yue was happy after hearing this, and Zhong Er put one hand on his forehead and the other on his waist. This is my paradise. This is my pure land. Let's pay tribute to the king of this place. After finishing speaking, he tossed his hair very badly, showing Zhong Er's true colors. Because the host wins, the player will get a random treasure box, which cannot be upgraded. Why is there a treasure chest? Don't I only get points if I win? Because the host thinks the system is stingy. This system is here to slap your face. Is this okay? The system is so stupid. You are really stingy. Look at you. Give me 18 billion points, and you will die. I have seen countless systems, but you're the most stingy. You're almost dead, and you're so distressed that you can't swallow your last breath even if you light a candle. The level of the treasure chest is reduced by 1 level. Host, I advise you to take care of yourself. I was wrong. You are a boss. It seems that this loophole is not what I imagined. If I knew I would stop scolding, I downgraded the treasure chest to 1 level for no reason. Fang Yue's heart was bleeding. Now this space is mine, and I can play however I want. Go. Fang Yue is going to try racing first. After all, there's no man who doesn't like cars. Just after taking a step, Fang Yue saw a girl standing not far in front of her, staring at her blankly, her eyes shining brightly. Damn, Zhong hit me just now, so she won't find out. Seeing Fang Yue looking over, the girl's eyes lit up, and she came to Fang Yue in a few steps, flicking her hair with her hand. Guan, the king of this place. I am the convict Princess Fisher, and the thread of fate has drawn me here to meet the predestined karma. Nightcrow Oz translated on the side. Miss means it's nice to meet you. Sure enough, she found out. What a shame. Oh, hello. Fang Yue is a little embarrassed, although he has a little Zhong air, but not to the level of official. If you ask him to talk to Fisher in Zhong air's tone, he really can't do it. The king here. Can you lead me to understand the mysteries of this place? I get it, this is to play with myself. No problem. I'll take you to a good place. Let's go, little Amy. Well, hearing Fang Yue calling her little Amy, Fisher blushed immediately and followed Fang Yue silently. Originally, Fang Yue wanted to go racing, but now it was obviously inappropriate to take Fisher with her. So Fang Yue changed her schedule and planned to take Fisher to ride the Ferris wheel. Girls should like it. When I came to the Ferris wheel, there were quite a lot of people. The appearance of Fang Yue quickly attracted the attention of everyone, who nodded to him with a smile. After paying the money, Fang Yue took Fischl into the cockpit. When the Ferris wheel starts to rotate, the cockpit slowly rises upwards, and the field of vision suddenly widens. Fisher lay on his back by the window, looking at the scenery outside. His eyes were full of splendor. Seeing Fisher's expression, Fang Yue secretly sighed. This is also a lonely girl, not accepted by peers, not liked by peers, hiding behind fantasy and books since childhood, hiding his loneliness. Call. I took a deep breath. Now that other people can't see it, so I might as well be with her. Having made a decision, Fang Yue stood up and came to Fisher, posing in an exaggerated pose. Princess condemned. How about this king's pure land? You can hear the sound of joy here, all of which are my great achievements. Fisher saw Fang Yue's movements. His eyes lit up, and he waved his hands. O king of this place, I have witnessed your great deeds. This is the land of great joy, only under my pure nightland. Good guy, can such a big amusement park compare to your quiet night pure land? It seems that this girl is quite nostalgic. Fang Yue put his hand under his chin, closed his eyes, and meditated for a while, and said, It seems that my paradise has not yet reached the princess heart. So, I should bring the princess to witness my other great achievements. That's the case. This princess will taste them one by one. Ozzy was shocked to the side. Is there anyone who can talk to his lady directly? Then this translation is a bit redundant. Chapter 50 Jumping Off a Building. Cough. This is a sightseeing machine. After deciding to take Fisher to experience other projects later, Fang Yue sat back in his seat, and Fisher continued to look at the scenery outside the window. Open the amusement park panel presented by the system, and Fang Yue can check it one by one. The panel is still very simple, and the profitability of each facility on it is clear. At first, Fang Yue thought that the bumper cars would make the most profit, but it turned out that the cold drink shop had the most profit. Looking at the profit of 3.83 million above, Fang Yue even wanted to open a snack street, which is no faster than an amusement park to make money. What's this? Clicking on the staff menu, Fang Yue found that these employees could still be fired. After thinking about it, he was right. He had already discovered that some of the staff's attitudes were not very good, and they even showed contempt for tourists. After the meeting, a voting meeting will be held to let the players vote, and all those who are unqualified will be fired by him. Turning off the panel, Fang Yue began to look at the facilities below. Anyway, there was nothing to do on the Ferris wheel, so he might as well just take a look at it and find out the next project. After looking for a long time, I didn't find a project I wanted to play. Is this amusement park playing against me? Either a roller coaster, a pirate ship, or a jumping machine and a big pendulum. This is a project produced by the system. Just by looking at the sky-jumping machine towering like a cloud, you can tell that it is not something ordinary people can afford. Do you want to take Fisher to play bumper cars with Kelly? Is that another drop in price? After choosing and choosing, Fang Yue finally chose the Rapids. No way. Only this looks normal. In the amusement park, the playing time of each facility is not long. Soon, the two came out of the Ferris wheel. Fang Yue was about to take Fisher to ride the rapids, but saw Hu Tao and Xiangling coming. Fang Yue asked, "Are you guys going to play on the Ferris wheel?" "Yeah, I'm a little tired from playing. I want to go up and see the scenery." Xiangling answered honestly. Cut. Fang Yue glanced at the Ferris wheel with disdain and said, "There are railings everywhere, and you can hardly see anything when you sit in that car." The staff next to him looked at his boss in puzzlement. How could he ruin his business like this? Fisher also looked at Fang Yue suspiciously. She could see clearly from above. Could it be that Fang Yue is still short-sighted? Well, then I'm not going. It's not fun to sit in there. Xiangling obviously believed Fang Yue's words and immediately lost interest in playing with the Ferris wheel. Seeing Xiangling like this, Fang Yue rolled his eyes, pointed to the facilities beside him, and said, "Look at that. That's the sightseeing facility. It's 180 degrees, unobstructed in all directions, and it's still high. If you look down from above, you can see it clearly." Looking back, Xiangling saw that there was indeed a big pillar towering like a cloud, and on the disc at the bottom of the pillar, there were seats surrounded by a circle, which was really 180 degrees unobstructed. But it doesn't look like a sightseeing device, does it? Real? Xiangling asked again with a little worry. "Can I still lie to you that jump cough? After the sightseeing machine goes up, it will rotate, allowing you to have a panoramic view of the entire playground." "Well, then let's try Walnut." "No problem." The corner of Hu Tao's mouth curled up, and she pulled Xiangling to go there, and met Yinjin and Yin on the way. After Xiangling's introduction, the two also wanted to see this sightseeing machine. Following Xiangling all the way to the so-called sightseeing machine, several people sat on it one after another. Yinjin took a look and saw that it was this safety bar again. Suddenly, my heart skipped a beat, and I hurriedly asked the staff, "This machine of yours really allows people to see the scenery from it?" "Yes, the scenery above is not bad." The staff obviously misunderstood it. Yunjin said that the scenery was like a Ferris wheel, but what the staff thought was, what kind of scenery can't be seen from such a high jumping machine? After checking the safety bar for several people in turn, the staff came to Hu Tao's position and were about to fix it for her. Ouch, ouch. But Hu Tao directly stood up, clutching her stomach, and ran down Yuan Pan in a few steps. "Walnut, what's wrong with you?" Seeing Hu Tao like this, Xiangling wanted to take a look, but now she was locked up by the safety bar, so she could only sit on it and ask. It's okay. It's just that my stomach hurts a little. You guys play first. I'll just sit on the side for a while." Walnut sat on the bench with one hand in the other. "That's it. Then wait for me for a while. We will play other things later." "Okay, you go." Hu Tao gave a thumbs up with a strange light in his eyes. She has a weird personality. When she passed by this machine, she saw that it was clearly written as a jumping machine, but Fang Yue said it was a sightseeing project. No matter how she thought, there were holes in it. But she is not going to tell the truth. Who let Xiangling cheat her last time? This is not just a revenge. Order! As the bell rang, Yinjin suddenly felt something was wrong. This roller coaster had the same ringtone, so she wouldn't be cheated. He quickly looked at Hu Tao outside, seeing that she was still waving at him. "Go all the way. Call out." The jumping machine produced by the system is different. It directly rises at a rapid speed and reaches the top directly after a while. Xiangling was dumbfounded at this time. How could she be so tall? She could almost touch the clouds. Yinjin, who was next to him, burst into tears. She was really unkind to others. Knowing Xiangling pit, she still rushed up, thinking she didn't die fast enough. Yin was really excited. In her words, "This is very rock and roll." Click! The jumping machine began to descend, and this vertical descent was much more exciting than a roller coaster. Xiangling, who finally realized that she had been tricked, let out a hysterical cry. Fang Yue, I can't stop talking to you." Chapter 51. This sightseeing machine is not bad. Xiangling didn't know how she got down. She sat limply on the bench, panting continuously. Yunjin was already lying on the chair, looking hopeless. Only Yin is not bad, although his feet are soft, but his eyes are full of excitement. This is too rock and roll. After a long time, a few people were slowed down. Just as he was about to go out, he saw the lady and Ning Guang approaching without looking at each other, and Zhongli was still rubbing the center of his brows behind. Zhongli was going to look for the sun, but he couldn't find him after searching around, but unexpectedly ran into the lady. Anyway, they are all fools. Isn't this a wave of prostitution? The lady also knew Zhongli's identity and immediately said that she could pay for Zhongli. This scene happened to be seen by Ning Guang. Don't we, Lei Yue, have no money? Want you to invite a group of fools. There are also a few people who saw that scene. Zhongli, Zhongli, come here. When Hu Tao saw Zhongli, his eyes began to roll. Master Hu, so you are here. Seeing Hu Tao calling him, Zhongli came over to say hello. Zhongli, do you want to play the sightseeing machine? I treat you. Sightseeing machine? Zhongli glanced at the jumping machine, probably not a good project, and looked at Hu Tao with some doubts, wondering what the kid was up to. This machine will send you to the sky, and you can have a panoramic view of the entire amusement park. That feeling TSK. Hearing what Hu Tao said, Ning Guang was non-committal. His Yu pavilion is in the sky, and he can overlook Liu even if he has no sky. What's the point of that? After the lady heard it, she was a little moved. She wanted to find Fang Yue, but now that the machine can be sent up by someone, so if she goes up and has a look, won't she be able to find out where Fang Yue is? Immediately said that he would try this sightseeing machine, and gave Ning Guang a provocative look. Ning Guang didn't take the lady's provocation to heart at all. She just didn't trust Hu Tao a little bit. This thing is not a good thing. Glancing at Xiangling, he asked, what kind of sightseeing machine is this really? Yes, it is. Xiangling gave an affirmative answer and gave a thumbs up to the jumping machine. The view from above is really nice. Yin Jin also chimed in. Ning Guang nodded. Xiangling is an honest child. He will not lie. And Mr. Yun's guarantee dispelled Ning Guang's doubts. But what she never imagined in her dreams was that the two of them have already turned black at this moment. As long as they can deceive people, they can say anything. So let's try. With graceful steps, Ning Guang chose a seat to sit down, far away from the lady. Zhongli frowned and looked at Hu Tao, knowing that Hu Tao was playing tricks again, but there was nothing he could do about it. It's hard to tell why this girl often helped her to cover up her debts. He also found a seat and sat on it. He wanted to see what this so-called sightseeing machine was. Ding! The bell rang. The jumping machine went up, and there was no sound from above. Down, still not the slightest sound. Wow, aren't they afraid? Xiang Ling's eyes widened. She couldn't believe it. I was scared to death just now, but the three of them didn't make a single sound, which is too powerful. No wonder he is a 7-star, and he can only be a chef. Bah! As the jumping machine landed, the safety bar opened, and Zhongli walked down as if nothing had happened. A little annoyed, he glanced at Hu Tao. This girl was a fool, and he had never seen such a big storm. Although this jumping machine was thrilling, it could at most make his heart beat a few times faster. But the other two are different. I'm afraid it's difficult for them to walk now. If they don't compete with each other, they might scream on the spot. Ning Guang and Mam are feeling very bad now. If they hadn't gritted their teeth forcibly, they wouldn't be ugly today. Originally, the two of them wanted to rest on it, but when they saw Yin Jin, they were shocked, and without knowing where the strength came from, they stood up and stumbled to the nearest bench. Glancing at each other, they actually saw a feeling of sympathy. The location of the jumping machine is still very important. The two of them just got off when they saw Barbara and Qin coming over. Miss Ning Guang, I didn't expect to see you again, Qin greeted with a smile. After parting from the haunted house, it wasn't long before we met again. Ning Guang also greeted with a smile. I'm a little tired, take a rest here. You can experience this sightseeing machine. The scenery on it is not bad. Xiangling's eyes lit up immediately, and she chimed in. That's right. When I went up just now, I almost touched the clouds. Hearing what she said, Qin also became interested. She knows that Ning Guang lives in Yu Pavilion. If she even recommends it, the scenery above must be pretty good. Thank you for the recommendation, Barbara, and I will try it. The jumping machine starts, and the jumping machine stops. There were two more patients on the bench again. Qin can see it. Since the advent of the game space, no one can believe it. No, you can't be the only one who gets tricked. Qin's eyes narrowed, revealing a dangerous light. Qin, Lisa, this sightseeing machine is good. I highly recommend it. Lisa, Santang, this sightseeing machine is good. I suggest you try it. Granu, Amber, this sightseeing machine is good. I strongly recommend you to go. Amber, this sightseeing machine is good. You really should try it. The scenery is so beautiful. Eula, Yinfei, this sightseeing machine is good and will be unforgettable for you forever. Yinfei, Shunli Linghua, this sightseeing plane is not bad, and the scenery on it is beautiful. Ayaka Kamisato, General Kujo, this sightseeing machine is good. It feels really good to have a bird's-eye view of the entire amusement park. Jujo Shaluo, General, you must not go up. Chapter 52, we were all deceived. I took Fisher to experience the Fang Yue, which is advancing in the torrent, and looked at the time. It was almost the same. After thinking about buying some drinks, I will end today's trip to the amusement park. When passing the jumping machine, I was taken aback. What's the situation? There's a group of people standing in the dark. All of them looked up at the sky, and there were many people lying on the chairs beside them, looking hopeless. Pulling the excited Xiangling, he asked, "What are you doing?" Xiangling didn't turn her head back. She just looked up at it intently. "Hey, don't interrupt. I'm coming down." "Are you coming down?" Fang Yue also looked up when something was about to come down. "Is the sky going to throw money?" Bye. The jumping machine stopped, and a few figures crawled out limply from inside. After a short rest, he ran out immediately. After a while, a few people were brought back. The jumping machine starts up again. FK, can you still play like this? Fang Yue was stunned. You people must be poisonous. Seeing the cute faces of Ku Li and Diana about to climb up, Fang Yue quickly grabbed the two little ones. "What kind of jumping machine are you two playing? You're not allowed to go." A jumping machine? Isn't it a sightseeing machine? Hearing the word sightseeing machine, the corner of Fang Yue's mouth twitched, and he fooled around casually. "You really believe it? Who told you this is a sightseeing plane? Look, doesn't that say a jumping machine?" Fang Yue pointed to the sign not far away and said, he wanted to know who the hell was that unscrupulous guy who would fool children. "That's right, it's a sightseeing machine." Kelly looked innocent, pointing at the sign and saying, "Kindness." Fang Yue turned around and saw that it was really a sightseeing machine. I don't know who blocked the original sign with paper. There are 3 large characters on the paper. Sightseeing machine. Fang Yue was speechless and couldn't help sighing. "Play, or you can play. But it's a bit too much for you to cheat Xiao Kelly and Diana." Facing the 2 little ones, he said seriously, "You two, tell Big Brother who asked you to sit here." "Kaya, Big Brother." Fang Yue's face darkened. It really was this guy. He was really not a human being. "Hey, don't look at me. I was also instigated by Diluc. I was instigated by Chongyun." Diluc said that he did not take the blame. "I was tricked by Zinc." Chongyun didn't want to take the blame either. "I was also tricked by Thomas." I was tricked by Ning Guang." Speaking of this kin, I am still a little angry. "We are such good pen pals, but you actually lied to me." "I was also tricked by Walnut." The source was found, and everyone looked at Hu Tao in unison, really wanting to beat her up. Shrugging, Hu Tao said indifferently, "Don't look at me. I was also tricked by Fang Yue. If you don't believe me, ask Xiangling." Well, it was Fang Yue who told me that this is a sightseeing plane. Everyone looked over it once again. "Well, you thief is calling catch a thief." Acting like push him onto the jumping machine. I don't know who yelled, and the crowd immediately gathered around, raising their hands and raising their feet. Hey, don't mess around. No matter how Fang Yue yells, everyone is determined to get him up, and now it doesn't matter whether you are an expert or not, or whether you'll be angry. Anyway, we're more angry now. Fang Yue, who was forced to sit on the seat, felt a little nervous and didn't know if he could bear it. If he couldn't, wouldn't his image of a master be ruined? Ding! Hearing the bell ring, Fang Yue gave the staff a vicious look. "I will drive you away later." The base lifted into the air, bringing Fang Yue upwards at high speed. Gusts of strong wind made Fang Yue unable to open his eyes. He only felt that his whole heart was sinking, and his soul was almost unable to catch up with his body. Click! The base reaches the very top. At this time, Fang Yue's face was pale, the corners of his mouth were trembling, his legs were weak, and his mind was completely blank. Call! The base fell downwards. Fang Yue gritted his teeth, making the last resistance. Swallowing a mouthful of saliva with difficulty, Fang Yue didn't know whether it was the saliva or his own heart that he swallowed. Click. After the base landed for a while, it began to slow down and finally stood still for a while, then flew towards the sky again. Fang Yue only felt that the heart that had just reached his throat just now fell into his stomach in an instant. Click. The base reaches the uppermost sky here. Fang Yue is already in a daze, staring at the sky with blank eyes, and there was fairy music playing in his ears. In front of him, a white-haired old woman showed a kind smile and stretched out her hand to Fang Yue. "Are you here to pick me up?" "Grandma, could it be that he is already dead? I'm afraid I'm the first one who was scared to death by the jumping machine. It is detected that the host has reached the tolerance limit, and the protection measures are now activated." The words of the system fell. Fang Yue was jolted up and woke up immediately. "Have you reached the limit of your tolerance?" Fang Yue's face was a little red. As expected, she couldn't compare with these monsters like Teyvat. In fact, it's not really Fang Yue's fault. With his small stature, it's hard for him to play with the jumping machine produced by the system. It's not easy for him not to be scared to death. Ordinary jumping machines. Even if Fang Yue played 10 times, he would be fine, but this jumping machine. Fang Yue just wanted to express that he didn't want to play it a second time. What kind of physical fitness are these people in Tivat? Why are they so perverted? Chapter 53 Fire employees because of the protection of a system. Fang Yue no longer has the feeling of weightlessness, but instead seems to be sitting on a chair on the ground, doing nothing. Fortunately, the time was not long. As the jumping machine finally landed on the ground, the safety bar was opened. Fang Yue walked out as if nothing happened. Looking contemptuously at some people who were still limp on the chairs, Fang Yue raised his eyebrows and said, "I told you all. I played this thing when I was a child. It's not interesting. The boss is awesome." Many people immediately looked at Fang Yue as if they were idols. This person is too powerful, and it's okay to play such a horrible thing. Ignoring the amazement of others, Fang Yue was about to end the game this time. "Everyone, this game is almost over. This space will be closed soon." Hearing that Fang Yue said that the space was going to be closed, many people who hadn't played enough quit immediately and tried to persuade them one after another. Looking at the people who were talking to you, Fang Yue waved his hands and said, "Although it is closed this time, it will continue to be open in the future." "Fang Yue, big brother, when will Kelly come to play again?" Kelly is most concerned about this, but she has made an appointment with Wendy to compete in all games, and the only condition is that she pays. Regarding how to open up this game space, Fang Yue has long thought about it. "Are you not looking for me? Let me watch you play alone." The corner of the mouth curled up and said, "As long as you can win the game, this space will be open for 3 days. During the period, you can enter and exit this space at will. You can play however you want." Hearing that as long as the game is won, it could be open for 3 days, many people's eyes lit up. Yin Fei patted Qing on the shoulder and said, "It's up to you, Qing. Well, with Yu and Qing here, we will not lose." Xing Qiu also agreed. "I have a Fang Yue locator on my side. How can I lose?" Many people heard it, yes. Next time, just follow Qing. If she touches something, she will immediately identify it. You can also get treasure chests and open amusement parks. Why not do it? Immediately, everyone looked at Qing with flickering eyes, as if she was some kind of morning star guiding the way forward. "I said it all. It was an accident, an accident." Qing looked a little uncomfortable, and his face was a little red. Who knows why she can find Fang Yue every time, and has physical contact every time, and this time she was hit by Fang Yue in the chest. If this continues, I won't be wiped out by Fang Yue. Be humble, be humble. Everyone obviously doesn't buy it. Isn't your accident a bit too much? A 100% accident? Sister, Kali still wants to come here to play. Can you catch Fang Yue, big brother, next time? Please, please. Seeing Kali holding on her skirt and acting coquettishly, Qing sighed helplessly. It seems that her reputation cannot be washed away. Sister, do your best. Yeah. Seeing Qing agreeing, Kali jumped up happily, turned her head, and invited Lei Movie. Sistering, let's play bumper cars next time. Lei Movie's face froze, and he was still playing with you. Am I playing? I was being played by you. Fang Yue couldn't help smiling when he saw the little lowly who could eat all 3 countries, reached out and hugged her, rubbed her head, and said, Xiao Kelly, next time I'll play the merry-go-round with you, okay? Fang Yue is still willing to play with her, but if she plays with bumper cars, she may be abused. After thinking about it, I decided to choose a casual one. Don't. Kelly turned her head away and said, that uncle who sells tickets is so fierce. I don't want to play with that. Fine. Fang Yue comforted, I will fire him later. Although that employee didn't know where he went, Fang Yue didn't want this kind of employee who always offended others. He looks like the second child and the third child all day long, and it makes people angry just looking at it. As soon as he thought of it, Fang Yue ordered the staff of the jumping machine to find all the other staff and climbed onto a high platform by himself. Everyone listen to me. This time, some employees made everyone unhappy. I am here to apologize to everyone. I will let all the staff gather here later, and you can choose the most unpopular employee, and I will fire him directly to ensure that such a scene will not happen again next time. Fang Yue's words brightened the eyes of many people, especially Ye Shensi. His eyes narrowed. Very good. You dare to say that I am from the countryside, so I will be punished now. She felt that Fang Yue at this time was pleasing to the eye no matter how she looked at it. Not long after, all the employees gathered here, including the carousel employees who had disappeared. Fang Yue asked them to stand in a row and asked the players to choose the few employees they disliked the most. Obviously, the employee of the carousel is on the list, and almost everyone has seen his performance, so the first one is out. The second one out was actually a racing employee, which made Fang Yue a little strange. What did this guy do to make so many people hate him? Isn't his income pretty good? Seeing Ye Shensi, who was smiling happily, Fang Yue realized that this fox must be playing tricks. Although he made a vote, if he didn't make a mistake, he would be out of the game just because he offended Ye Shensi, which is not good. Immediately came down and asked, "This is your fault? Why are you so arguing against him?" Ye Shensi waved the fan in his hand and said innocently, "How dare I fight against him? But people dare to say that a mortal Lei Yue is an animal spirit. I, this little fox, am so scared to death." Kindness? It doesn't matter if she doesn't say this. As soon as she said it, all of you looked over directly. "Master, I'm going to kill him now." Shenhe stretched out his hand and walked towards the man with the spear. Fortunately, he was stopped by someone. After all, this person is an employee of Fang Yue. Isn't it too good for you to kill him so casually? Let's see how Fang Yue handles it. All right. Fang Yue finally understood and glanced at the frightened employee. You are a real bull. You offended Quan Lei Yue by yourself. Adding Ye Shensi together, that is 2 countries. Needless to say, he will fire this person. The attitude of the other employees in the amusement park was still very good, and in the end, only the previous 2 were selected. Opening the panel, Fang Yue was about to choose to dismiss immediately. The frightened 2 hurried forward to beg for mercy. There are personnel in the system space. If they are fired, they will return to the state of being recruited. They can only appear if they are recruited again. It is different from being dead. Looking at the 2 begging for mercy, Fang Yue clicked to fire without hesitation. With 2 flashes of white light, the 2 disappeared into the game space. This scene made other employees tremble with fright, especially the employees who jumped off the building machine, almost cried. If he can survive this time, he can play for a lifetime. Chapter 54, Reappearance of the Black Box. After dealing with a few of the most unpopular employees, everyone had no reason to stay any longer and left the space one after another. Fang Yue didn't stay long either and returned to Mon's room as the amusement park was closed. At the first time, Fang Yue counted the goods he had received this time, with 500,000 points and a player treasure box. Adding the remaining 680,000 before, Fang Yue's points came to 1.18 million again. Looking at the 1 point behind a 1.18 million points, Fang Yue didn't like it. If it wasn't for something without 1 point, he would have used him up long ago. Fang Yue is not going to draw the treasure box now. The system has already sent a treasure box. He wants to see what can start. When I took out the treasure chest, it was really foggy like the player treasure chest, and I couldn't see the level of the treasure chest clearly. Fang Yue had no choice but to reach out and tap on the treasure chest. Unravel the mystery of this treasure chest. With the emergence of light, the treasure chest finally revealed her mysterious veil. Go day system. Are you trying to kill me? Looking at the dark treasure chest in front of him, Fang Yue's heart stopped beating. It is agreed that it cannot be upgraded. What do you mean by getting a black box? Fang Yue paced left and right in the room. He didn't know what cheating missions would be inside, so he didn't dare to open this treasure chest. But the need for strength made me feel full of entanglement. Death is death. After making up her mind, Fang Yue finally decided to open this treasure chest. I'm still too weak now. Social death is better than real death. Trembling, he stretched out his hand to open the treasure chest, and the little devil appeared again. Fang Yue grabbed out the task card without even looking at him. Today is a good day. Everything you want can come true, Fang Yue sang while flipping over the task card, trying to draw a wave of metaphysics. The player is requested to recite the content in public in Mon Square, with a time limit of 1 hour. Seeing the content of the recitation below, Fang Yue's eyes darkened, and he almost fainted. Brother, discuss it. Can I change the task? Fang Yue discussed with the system in his heart, but the system ignored him. For the sake of strength, what's the point of mere brazenness? Let's do it. Gritting her teeth, Fang Yue directly put the sheet on her body. Only her eyes were exposed, opened the door, and ran towards the square of Mond. As soon as he appeared in Mond, he immediately became a beautiful landscape. The Mon people have seen people wearing masks and night clothes, but this is the first time for people wearing sheets. The most important thing is that the pattern of a dandelion on the sheets is still on the forehead. Hey, look at that man. Why did he run outside with a sheet on? Many pedestrians stopped to watch, and there were discussions. You don't even know this? An old woman explained to everyone with a profound expression. I think it's 80% because the cheating was discovered, and I ran out before I could wear my clothes. When everyone heard it, it made sense, and Qi cast contemptuous glances at Fang Yue. Fang Yue's ears are still working. He also reacted when he heard the old woman's words. What the hell are you doing? At first, he just didn't want people to see his appearance. So he took the sheet and wrapped himself tightly. Now that I think about it, isn't this the state of being caught cheating on me? I regret it. Now he can't go back. If people know where he lives, maybe there will be some rumors. Throwing his heart away, he immediately started running. Eula, who was out of the game space, happened to be returning to the city and saw a strange man in a bedsheet, running desperately to the square with his waist down. What's happening here? I was stunned for a while, but decided to catch up and see, what is this strange guy going to do? Not only Eula, but many residents of Mond ran after Fang Yue, and they also wanted to see which family the adulterer belonged to. After finally arriving at the square, Fang Yue was dumbfounded when she turned around. Why are there so many people? I'm afraid I'm going to die here today. Anyway, it's already like this now. Fang Yue is going to smash it straight away. So let's die. Open your mouth and start reciting. I'm a humble grass, but you are so bright. Mission failed. Please read it aloud. FKU. Fang Yue wants to strangle this system now. Taking a deep breath, I raise my voice a little. I'm a humble grass, but you. Mission failed. Please don't read it. Pay attention to the sound and emotion. You are vicious. Fang Yue had no other choice but to stand still and start to carry his emotions. Eula, who was hiding in the crowd, looked at this man standing there, wondering what to read. What the hell is Fang Yue doing? Although Fang Yue only showed a pair of eyes, but his eyes are still very characteristic. When she turned around, she was recognized by Yura. If she hadn't recognized Fang Yue, she would have stopped her in the morning. After adjusting his mood, Fang Yue opened his mouth. In fact, Fang Yue is quite good at reciting texts. When he was in school, he won the second place in the national prose recitation. So, when he adjusted his mood and began to recite, this feeling came. I am a humble grass, but you are so dazzling, like a blooming flower. I want to compliment your looks, but I can't think of the right words. Any sentence of praise can describe your beauty, even a 10,000th. Looking at Fang Yue, who was reciting with emotion, Eula almost laughed out loud. This guy just came to Mond, and he found someone he likes? But you just read the love letter. What the hell is it wearing a bed sheet? Chapter 55. Fang Yue is now putting all his heart and soul into it, and must pass the test once. He doesn't want to do it again and again. So I didn't care about the addition of an acquaintance like Eula in the crowd. I still remember the first time we met. You saved me from fire and water. At that time, you were like a lotus flower on a snow mountain, noble and elegant. Looking into your eyes, I seem to see a new world, but I don't know what kind of sadness is hidden behind those bright eyes. I don't know how to get close to you, and I can't get close to you. I can only watch all this silently. Hearing this, Yura's heart skipped a beat. Is this guy talking about me? Fang Yue was the one she brought back to Mond, and thinking about her own family affairs, she really deserved it. For a moment, Eula didn't know what to say. Fang Yue is not bad. If I reject him, will it make him sad? If she agrees, Fang Yue will definitely be used by those people in her family with ulterior motives. Thinking of her own family, Yura felt a little sad. At this time, the music sounded, and Wendy sat in the hands of the Aeolian statue, gently fiddled with the harp in her hand. How could he miss such a fun thing? With the accompaniment of the music and Fang Yue's eloquent recitation, many Mon people were brought into the state of Fang Yue's wanting and wanting for a while. Oh, he is also a poor man. Yeah, I don't know which girl this young man admires so much. Fang Yue, who was hiding in the bedsheet, twitched the corners of his mouth, so ashamed that he wanted to find a hole to drill directly. But in order to reward, he can only continue to read aloud. Do you remember what you said to me the first time? Do you remember? Fang Yue kept reading aloud, and countless love words came out of his mouth. Eula hid in the crowd with a blushing face, lowered her head silently, not knowing what she was thinking. On the other side of the crowd, several members of the West Wind Knights also stood aside, looking at Fang Yue with strange expressions. It seems that Mr. Fang Yue has fallen in love with Eula. Do you want to match them up? Qin sighed. She was a person who likes to secretly read romance novels, and now seeing Fang Yue's act of courtship can almost be said to be public. Immediately a little excited, this is a plot that only exists in novels. It is even more exciting than reading novels. What? Is Fang Yue courting Eula? Amber was startled. She knew that Fang Yue was courting, but she didn't expect the object to be Eula. Has my best friend found a lifelong support? With Fang Yue as a respected boss, Eula won't have to be bullied anymore. Thinking of this.
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.